All right, thank you.
Bye.
We have reconvened from closed session, and I would like to make the following disclosure. By a 4-0 vote with Councilmember Brewer absent, the City Council authorized and directed the City Attorney's Office to defend the case of Abushi versus the City of Elk Grove as identified by the case number on the City Council meeting agenda. With that, we will adjourn the special meeting at 6 p.m. And at this time, I would like to call to order the Elk Grove City Council regular meeting and the Elk Grove Finance Authority regular meeting concurrent agenda, Wednesday, April the 23rd, 2025. The time is 6 p.m. Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. This meeting of the Elk Grove City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Tonight's meeting replays will be on Friday, April 25th at 1 p.m. and Tuesday, April 29th at 9 a.m. on Metro Channel 14. Once posted, the recordings of this and previous meetings can be viewed on demand at the 3ws.elkgrove.gov or youtube.com/metrocable14. For members of the participating audience who may have personal electronic devices, please place them on silent mode during the meeting or on mute when you are not speaking. Elk Grove City Council welcomes, appreciates, and encourages participation in the City Council meeting. City Council requests that you limit your presentation to 3 minutes per person so that all present will have time to participate. City Council reserves the right to reasonably limit the total time for public comment on any particular noticed agenda action item as it may deem necessary. Pursuant to Resolution Number 2010-24, no individual speaker concerning public comment may address the City Council for more than 3 minutes. If you wish to address the council during the meeting, please complete a blue speaker card, which can be found at the back of the chamber and provided to Deputy City Clerk prior to consideration of the agenda item. With that, Mayor, I'll be moving into the roll call. And to commence the roll call, I will start with Councilmember Spies.
Present.
I will note that Councilmember Brewer is absent. Councilmember Suen.
Here.
Vice Mayor Robles.
Present.
And Mayor Singh Allen.
Here. Thank you. Next up is our land acknowledgement, and our Vice Mayor will be assisting with that.
Thank you, Mayor. We honor, respect, and acknowledge Elk Grove's first inhabitants, the Plain Miwoks, who lived as sovereign caretakers of this land and these waterways since the time of immemorial. We commemorate and advocate for their descendants, the Wilton Rancheria tribe, the only federally recognized tribe in Sacramento County, who endure because of the bravery, resiliency, and determination of their ancestors, tribal members, and leaders.
Thank you. Next up is our Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to invite Chief Davis to help lead us this evening.
All right. Hand over hearts. Hats off. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, please join us for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Next item is the approval of the agenda. May I get a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Next item.
Under Section 3, there are no closed session items on the regular agenda, which will take us to Section 4, our presentations and announcements. And I was just going to take a brief moment to see if we had our representatives from Sierra Donor Services in the audience tonight. If you can raise a hand. Excellent. So
Okay,
it looks like everybody made it through traffic. So we will be kicking off with item 4.1.
Excellent.
Which is a proclamation recognizing April as Donate Life Month.
All right. At this time, I will go ahead and call forward our representatives of the Sierra Donor Services as I read the proclamation. Good evening. All right, proclamation, Donate Life Month, April 2025. Whereas more than 100,000 Americans and 20,000 Californians are currently on the national transplant waiting list, and roughly 80% are people of color. And whereas another person is added to the waiting list every 8 minutes, and on average, 17 people die each day while waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. And whereas the most effective way to address this health crisis is to educate and encourage citizens to commit to the following actions. Register your decision to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor in the National Donate Life Registry at donatelifecalifornia.org or at your local California DMV. And whereas Sierra Donor Services serves at the center of a dynamic, interconnected system that involves donor families, local hospitals, and transplant centers across Northern California, including the greater Sacramento region, in the delicate and time-sensitive mission of saving lives through transplant. And whereas in 2024, Sierra Donor Services had its second highest record year after almost 4 decades, making 912 organ transplants possible thanks to the selfless generosity of 170 Northern California organ donor heroes, a total of 426 tissue donors, including musculoskeletal and heart valve donors, contributed to saving and improving lives. Sierra Eye Bank provided 1,511 corneas from these donor heroes, restoring sight to many people. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby proclaims April 2025 as National Donate Life Month in the City of Elk Grove and encourages all residents to register their decision to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor in the National Donate Life Registry at donatelifecalifornia.org or your local DNB. Signed this 23rd day of April 2025. Thank you. Would you like to say something?
Sure. I'm Diane Ayala, and I work for Sierra Donor Services. I work in the aftercare department. So even though, once the donation has happened, we follow our donor families for a year with bereavement materials. We talk to them and make sure everything's going okay. We have resources to help them with their grief. So we don't just drop the ball, we do follow them and try and take care of them the best we can. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for all that you do. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Emily Collins, and I work for Sierra Donor Services in our quality department. And I'm just grateful to be here, grateful for the proclamation from the City of Elk Grove. Organ and tissue donation is very important, and glad to have your support.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do saving lives.
And I'm Jane Pena. I'm a transplant nurse at UC Davis. I'm also one of the executive board for Philippine Nurses Association. And I've seen firsthand the benefit of recipients of organ, tissue, and eye donation in my line of work. So I really appreciate your partnership and your commitment to move this proclamation forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We will meet you down there and present this to you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Darren. Thank you so much.
Thank you. How are you? Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll squeeze in maybe here in the middle. Okay. Congratulations. You want to come here closer to me here, and then we'll, if you want to put your hand on that. Okay.
My eyes are pretty beautiful too.
Yeah.
Sergio's always fishing.
All right, everybody, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more for good measure. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you know Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're in touch.
In traffic.
Oh, okay. No worries. Thank you. All right, we have lots of presentations this evening. Our next one is Proclamation recognizing April as Food Waste Awareness Month, presented to Marie Mertz. Marie, are you here? Please come on down.
Come on up, Marie.
And presenting that will be Councilmember Suen.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, it's my honor tonight, Marie, present to a good friend, Marie Mertz, Toto and Poco. Not only do you provide delicious food to all our residents, but you also are very engaged about food waste and awareness. So, and thank you for bringing this to our attention this year. So this proclamation is for Food Waste Awareness Month, whereas wasted food is a significant environmental and public health issue on the local, state, and national levels, with an estimated 30 to 40% of the total national food supply thrown away in the landfill. And whereas there's an opportunity to recover and redirect edible food to nourish our Elk Grove community members who are experiencing food insecurity, with an estimated 22% of all California households and 27% of households with children, according to the California Association of Food Banks. And whereas there is an opportunity to divert inedible food and food waste through mandated organics collections programs to reduce methane emissions in landfills and utilize organic material to produce recycled organic waste products, including compost, mulch, renewable energy, and electricity from biomass conversion. And whereas April 22, 2025 is Earth Day, and reducing food waste supports conservation efforts and helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions while supporting California's goal of reducing emissions to 40% below 1990 levels by 2030. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby affirms and proclaims April 2025 as Food Waste Awareness Month in the City of Elk Grove, and encourages all residents and businesses to help reduce food waste to make the City of Elk Grove a greener, more sustainable community. So thank you so much again for being here. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for taking seriously this recommendation for the third year. It is important that we all learn how to manage our organic waste. A lot of people might say, why is so involved in that? Because it is true. We see it firsthand. In the restaurant industry, according to data, we are one of the biggest contributors to organic waste. There are 48%, according to data, that all our organic waste in California end up in the landfills. Also, a lot of the foods that are prepared from the hospitality industry, 2.5 billion foods already prepared, end up being wasted. There is a lot of people facing food insecurities. We think our community of Elk Grove, the perception is that, this is a healthy community, this is a wealthy community. They don't have food insecurities. However, they are. And if you see the lines in the food bank as well, for the past year, we collaborated with another food bank in another district, and that really changed my life. People face food insecurities everywhere. And I think it is important that we all as residents of business, not just because it's mandatory, but because it is the right thing to do, that we all learn how to manage our organic waste. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to create awareness. And our third time is a charm. It is a proclamation. It is amazing. But I think we need to take it outside the chambers and do something. Let's call for action. Let's do something. If we all do one little thing at a time, we can make a change. I'm not asking for too much. Just one little thing. Recycle, repurpose, compost, donate. Let's try to learn how to donate and how to reach all the food that we don't use to people that actually need it. Together, we can get somewhere.
Thank you. We'll come on down.
That was amazing.
You speak with the heart.
Yes, yes. She's also Businesswoman of the Year last year, restaurant, so.
There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. We see you soon.
Congratulations.
I'm hungry.
Thank you.
Let's see, next one is also going to be presented by Councilmember Garrison. That is a proclamation, let's see, recognizing April as Fair Housing Month. Councilmember Suen.
Thank you, Mayor. Is representatives from Project Sentinel here? Oh, great. Good evening. Thank you for being here. I think everybody's familiar with the housing crisis, and it's even more important to make sure that everybody has the right to fair housing. Whereas adequate housing is a basic need and the right of all people, and whereas this year we celebrate the 57th anniversary of the enactment of the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968, which states that discrimination in the sale and rental of housing is illegal when based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And whereas the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 extends fair housing rights on the basis of familial status to families with children and on the basis of handicapped or disabled persons. And whereas California statutes additionally protect citizens on the basis of age, marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity, and source of income. And California celebrates the 65th anniversary of the Fair Employment and Housing Act. Whereas the City of Elk Grove supports fair housing to eliminate discrimination in housing and recognizes the benefits of Project Sentinel to educate home seekers, apartment managers, and apartment owners on federal and state housing laws and to investigate complaints of illegal housing discrimination in Elk Grove. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby proclaims the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month, and do encourage all residents and community organizations to celebrate the value of harmonious and diverse communities of neighbors and to support the goal of equal housing and opportunities of all people. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. And I know I brought up a folder, so yes. But first, I'd like to thank you, the mayor and the city council, for recognizing April as Fair Housing Month. I know the city have a lot of priorities given the agenda and a lot of the things we recognize for this month. But I know this recognition means a great deal for me because I'm actually immigrated here when I first came to the United States with my family. And my dad actually owns a business here. And my mom calls this place home. So this is the only place she knows in the whole US by heart. And so this is where kind of my mom learns what it means. Me and my dad knows what home really means. So housing is not about just four walls. It is safety, it is about dignity. And it's about having a foundation that you can count on to grow, to heal, and to plan whatever comes next. Without that, so much else becomes harder: education, health, opportunities, even hope. And the truth is, fair housing isn't guaranteed for everyone. Across the country, even here, barriers still exist. Discrimination doesn't always announce itself, but its impacts runs deep. It can displace family, push people into unsafe situations, and deepens inequality in ways that last for generations. And that's why this proclamation matters. It affirms something simple: who you are, your race, your background, your income, or your disability should never determine whether you have a place to call home in the city. So I would like to thank you, the city, for the cooperation that the city had provided throughout the year and look forward for the future to come. So thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you for your speech. Everyone's speech today. Oh my God.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right.
One, two, three. One more. One, two.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, next up is our proclamation recognizing April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day. Representatives of the Tree Foundation, are you here? Excellent. Please come forward. And presenting will be our Vice Mayor.
How's it going?
Good. I'm back. Thanks.
No,
Thanks for having me.
No, of course. I'm super excited. I actually do a lot of tree planting, and I know all of us do, but this is one of the things that I'm really super passionate about. One, because they have neighborhoods, and two, because of tree canopies, right? Going into low-income communities, making sure that there's trees, because we've seen through the statistics that it lowers diabetes and it lowers asthma. So I know we usually read the proclamation, but I just want to say the Sac Tree Foundation has really stepped up in Sacramento and the whole Sacramento region for that, and I'm super proud of the work that you do and proud of the work that's being done. Again, I know that we usually read the Arbor Day Proclamation, but I kind of like to do a little bit different just to let the folks know out in their community of the work that you've done. I know that last year we did 25 trees. I believe that next month with SMUD, there's going to be 25 or more trees, and that's going to be at Jones Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So-
And we also planted 1,500 trees.
1,500
in Franklin
trees.
Gym.
So I'll go a little bit of the whereases, but I just wanted to make sure that the folks in our community understand that the Sac Tree Foundation is leading the front in this in the region. Truly appreciative. So Arbor Day festivities have been observed for over 150 years in recognition of the importance of trees and urban forest, of the viability and sustainability of American cities and communities. In the city of Elk Grove is committed to optimizing the remarkable benefits of trees that create the best urban forests of Sacramento region. The City of Elk Grove has adapted the urban forestry program to improve the quality of life for all residents and Elk Grove, recognizing the contributions of the tree canopies have clean air, water, energy conservation, public health, habit, beauty in our neighborhood and our business districts. More than 500 volunteers have planted over 2,500 native oak trees, 1,000 trees and plants, over 400 shrubs, and spread over the acreage of the native grass and wildflower seeds in Elk Grove. The City of Elk Grove coordinates with the Sacramento Tree Foundation, conducting Arbor Day tree planting on April 22nd, 2025. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the City Council and the City of Elk Grove proclaims April 25 as the City of Elk Grove's 2025 Arbor Day, and encourages citizens to plant trees and take care of trees and their urban forests. So, would you like to say anything?
Yeah. Thanks again for this. It's an honor to be here again with the Sacramento Tree Foundation. I just want to say thank you to the City of Elk Grove for your continued partnership and for your leadership in environmental stewardship. You've all been so ahead of the game. It's amazing to be in a community like this where we can make big impacts on urban canopy and shade equity issues. We look forward to increasing our collaboration and work together for the residents of Elk Grove. But on top of that, I'd like to thank a couple people, specifically Alex Lepper, who's another member of Elk Grove, whose vision and networking abilities have allowed us to work in Elk Grove in lots of new different ways. There's so many interesting types of green spaces here, and that program really has a big vision for the future. I'd also like to thank the California Air Resource Board and the Sacramento Area Sewer District. With the funding we've been able to plant more riparian species, more native shrubs, all to manage Franklin Creek, water quality, erosion, and other ecological concerns in the area. All of that water runs to Stone Lakes Wildlife Preserve, so it's been a big help in managing that space. The Sacramento Tree Foundation is always looking forward to planting more trees. That's kind of our thing. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
So we're gonna plant more trees, right?
You're all welcome to plant trees. Thanks again. It's always good to see you.
Thank you for being here.
Good to see you. Thanks.
I'll be there next month for that.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you. Thank you again.
Okay, continuing on our presentations here. Next up is 4.5, which is a proclamation recognizing May 4th through the 10th, 2025, as Capital Region Small Business Week. And presenting that will be Councilmember Kevin Spees, and it will be presented to Sophia Kanan. Are you here? How do you say your last name? Kanan, with the Women's Business Center. Councilmember Spees.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here this evening. So I'll read off this proclamation here for the Capital Region Small Business Week, May 4 through 10, 2025. Every year since 1963, the President of the United States has issued a proclamation announcing National Small Business Week, which recognizes the critical contribution of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners. And more than half of all Americans either own or work for a small business, and they create about 2 out of every 3 new jobs in the United States each year. The City of Elk Grove celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. And the 2025 Capital Region Small Business Week celebration recognizes the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners. The community of Elk Grove is invited to attend the Small Business Resource Expo, sponsored by Invest Elk Grove, the city's Office of Economic Development, and hosted at McConnell Estates Winery on May 5th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. This event will provide invaluable resources, networking opportunities, and support for entrepreneurs and small business owners in our region. So therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove does hereby proclaim May 4 through 10, 2025 as Capital Region Small Business Week, and encourages the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on this week-long series of events throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Again, my name is Sophia Kananen. I am the director for the Women's Business Center at California Capital in Sacramento. And so I serve Sacramento and 7 counties surrounding. So I've had the pleasure of working with many entrepreneurs that are here, right here in Elk Grove. And so Capital Region Small Business Week was meant to not just highlight entrepreneurship and small businesses, but to celebrate and to honor the work that they've done for the economy. And so thank you so much for your support for Small Business Week. I also am sharing this moment here with Heather Lutzy. And so I just want to give her a moment to say a couple of words as well.
Thank you, Sophia. My name's Heather Lutzy. I am the director for the U.S. Small Business Administration, Sacramento District Office, and have the honor of working with Sophia through the last 10 years of Capital Region Small Business Week, which is a part of National Small Business Week. So it's recognized across the country. We're thrilled this year that we get to kick off the event in Elk Grove with the Business Expo to further support small businesses. So we really hope that you'll come out and join us. It's going to be a great time. If you're unable to make that, or if you do want to make that, come out to the other events as well, because there's 11 across the Capital Region. So thank you so much.
CapitalRegionSmallBusinessWeek.org if you want to check out the events. Thank you so much.
We're going to present that to you.
How do you do? Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your work.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi.
How are you?
Mayor, it's a pleasure.
Congratulations.
I'll come here in the middle, and then here.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Sophia's being modest. She's like the
You can
main
grab this
person
on
who's
each end?
helped out women entrepreneurs in the Sacramento region.
Get a little closer. Just a couple more from 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll be going to
I'll shake your hand. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, let's see. Next up is a proclamation recognizing May 4th through the 10th, 2025, as the U.S. Travel Association's Travel and Tourism Week. At this time, I'd like to call up Aaron Val with Visit Elk Grove, and presenting is Councilmember Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. And hi, Aaron. How are you today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's a beautiful day, not too warm. Getting ready for softball in a little bit, so
It's a nice
Great.
little peak period coming into the spring as we start to kick things off. And I wanted to present you with this proclamation for U.S. Travel Association's Travel and Tourism Week that runs from May 4th through May 10th. This is right around the corner, which is actually a good thing. But I'll definitely read the proclamation to you right now. Whereas the travel tourism industry is a vital economic driver supporting millions of jobs across the United States and generating billions in revenue for local, state, and national economies. And whereas the National Travel and Tourism Week, observed from May 4th through May 10th, 2025, celebrates the power of travel and its essential role in fostering economic growth, job creation, cultural exchange, and community development. And whereas the theme for National Travel and Tourism Week 2025 highlights the industry's role in strengthening the communities by attracting visitors, supporting local businesses, and enhancing the quality of life for residents. And whereas travel and tourism in Elk Grove contribute significantly to the region's economic prosperity, providing employment opportunities, driving investment, and showcasing our unique cultural and natural attractions. And whereas Elk Grove recognizes the importance of tourism marketing efforts in promoting our destination to visitors from across the nation and around the world, ensuring continued economic benefits and community enrichment. And whereas we honor the dedicated professionals in the travel and hospitality industry who work tirelessly to provide exceptional experiences for visitors, contributing to the vibrancy and success of our destination. So now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove does hereby proclaim May 4th through 10th, 2025 as National Travel and Tourism Week in Elk Grove, and encourage all residents and businesses and organizations to recognize and support the contributions of the meetings industry in shaping our community and economy. Signed on this day on May 23rd, or April 23rd, already jumping ahead. It's never a good thing. The City Council and our mayor. So congratulations, Aaron, and I'll turn the floor over to you.
thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and Invest Elk Grove, who's really been here to support Visit Elk Grove and our team and all of our efforts since 2015. The organization's been a long ways coming, but the travel industry has always been here, been very strong, and there's so many great potential and opportunities that we're seeing in Elk Grove through growth, visitation, and numbers. Last fiscal year, we reported $90 million in visitor spending just in Elk Grove through TransUnion data, so that's a big number. And in Sac County, Visit California stated there was $4.4 billion in the county in 2023. The numbers continue to grow. Tourism and travel always supports jobs, supports growth, generates tax dollars, and keeps small businesses moving forward. I'm excited to share National Travel and Tourism Week with the Small Business Week because, we work hand in hand. We're here to support those businesses so that our community can enjoy those and also visitors have something unique to try, whether it's a brewery, winery, shop, restaurant. So how exciting that we get to celebrate at the same time. But really, on behalf of Explore Elk Grove, our tourism and hospitality partners, we thank you for this proclamation. I'm honored to accept it, and we look forward to continuing to celebrate, to push forward with tourism, and to serve this community.
All right. Hi, how are you?
This is Casey.
Hi, Casey. All right, here, we'll put this in front of your, there we go.
All right, you guys all know the drill by now. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, that concludes those presentations. Now we're going to go to the Trails Committee, item 4.7, the annual report, the presentation by the Trails Committee.
We're all set up. We're really all set up. Good evening, Mayor St. Allen, council members. Thank you for having me. My name is Mark Mendenhall. I'm the chairman of the Trails Committee. Been up here before, a lot of years. This is our committee today. No changes from last year. Sharon Anderson is in the group. We also have my wife and daughter, and 3 of my trail riders are here also. So this is like a standing room only for this crowd. This is what we do. We provide input and direction on CIP and planning projects and the vision for future active transportation in our city. At our meetings, we review development projects where a trail or an active transportation corridor is nearby. This year, we made recommendations for the Waterman RV Storage Facility, the Triangle Point Retail Center, Summer Villas Over 55 Complex, the Sutter Medical Campus Expansion, and the Maverick Fueling Station. For active development projects currently under construction is the completion of the Ryland Trail connection at Teagan Road. This will provide trail access for the north, from the north to the Bel Air and Safeway centers on Laguna and Franklin Boulevard. The Trojan Storage and Flex Warehouse Facility on Bighorn is constructing a trail along Bighorn that connects to the Elk Grove Creek Trail and will eventually connect across Bruceville Road to the planned trail on the south side of Laguna Creek. The extensive construction underway south of Whitelock Parkway in the Southeast Policy area contains several trails interconnecting neighborhoods, the new zoo, Camera Road, the Whitelock Parkway system. Here's a couple more pictures. This trail will connect the zoo to the entire SEPA network. Further committee activity included staff reviews of several projects and initiatives through the course of the year. Our committee commented as desired on each item. I'll cover them next. The Laguna Creek Interregional Trail Master Plan is well on the way to implementation with 2 major connections in the final phases before construction begins. When completed, the new trail and bridge will connect east and west Elk Grove over 99, West Stockton Boulevard to the Camden neighborhood and trail system. We reviewed the aesthetics options for the new bridge over 99. A connection is needed at Waterman and Bond Roads to extend the Laguna Creek Trail to Bradshaw Road. I've spoken to this needed connection in previous presentations. Currently, a federal grant has been awarded through SACOG for environmental and feasibility studies, and funding has been approved. The Harvest Water Project along Franklin Boulevard is well underway with a planned Class 4 separated bike lane on both sides of Franklin Boulevard when completed. This will continue to the existing Class 4 bike lane in Sacramento City. The trail connection on the south side of Elk Grove Creek at Laguna Springs to Oneto Park will be completed this spring. I took that picture 2 days ago, so it's actually happening. The trail improvements and crosswalks and intersections are underway on West Stockton Boulevard north of the Laguna Gateway Home Depot Shopping Center in preparation for increased trail use from the new bridge over 99 in Laguna Creek. Surface repairs and restriping on several trails around town are underway. Tree roots, erosion, and wear and tear are being addressed. That's a good thing, and we're pleased the city takes note and corrects these issues. We created our minor CIP project recommendation log in 2019 to help staff prioritize small projects that have a big impact on trail usability. This is our list. Progress has been slow. We have 5 completed and in blue highlight. These took about 4 to 5 years to work through the design and build process. We're beginning to see some progress with the yellow items, looking at adding to existing curb cut projects and a look to see at the amber items for the right-of-way and drainage issues. We could use a boost from the council to elevate priorities for these projects. I've included this slide for a few years. With our e-bike lending program and the voucher program, we have the beginnings of a whole new set of alternative transportation enthusiasts. I expect trails used by e-machines of all sorts will boom as the weather gets warmer and the days longer. Staff is working on some new guidelines for their use on trails. With e-machines, many users are no longer restricted by distances, enabling errands, shopping, and commuting to work and other obligations. Staff introduced our wayfinding program last year, which is initially focused on our 4 main trails in different parts of the city. The plan includes posted maps, signage, directions, and points of interest surrounding the trail corridors. For this initiative, we need to expand our vision to include better and safer ways to cycle around town. Here are some thoughts we introduced this year for us and staff to consider. I've showed a version of this before. We have 2 main railroad tracks through town and 2 freeways. All create hard barriers to vehicular and non-vehicular travel. In addition to barriers, we have a grid of major vehicular arteries, both north and south and east and west. These are obstacles that primarily bicycles, these are obstacles to primarily bicycles, but at least navigable and most importantly, crossable. When you put the 2 together, the barriers and obstacles look like this. The problem we see, particularly with new bikers and now e-bikers, is that they tend to ride routes where they have always driven their cars. The next thing here is it's not safe and the cars are going way too fast. Well, yes, that's true for many riders who find themselves on the main boulevards. The answer is to stay on the trails and interior streets. The interior combination is what will make it all work for destination-focused trips. For example, to get from Bilby Road to the northern city limit at any point along the way, a series of trails and residential streets with signalized crossings at boulevards can be used and is mostly in place today. Likewise, an east and west route between Harbor Point and Bradshaw Road is doable with only 2 short legs on Laguna and Bond Roads. The beginnings of the plan would look like this. From a visionary perspective, we need to work in this direction. Much of our city is built out. We have trails, yes, but longer connectivity must be accomplished using calmer streets. The wayfinding program should be expanded to include this concept. How to convey this to our users in the city is the next challenge. Our committee is ready to dig into this project with your support. So, the last several years I have led city staff and interested community members on bike rides to various parts of the city to showcase our many trails, parks, and community assets. Last year we took a ride down south to the new zoo property and explored the rapid growth underway on the Southeast Policy area. This year, I plan to stretch out the mileage a bit. We have e-bikes now. And take staff on a genuine interior streets and trails route all the way to Bradshaw and Grant Line roads, using part of the Southeast Connector Trail so we can all see how this connective concept can work. I hope some of you can join us, and everybody over here and over here. The anti-trash volunteer team continues to keep our trails and creeks roadways clean, twice monthly now on Saturdays. The committee member and Vice Chair Sharon Anderson continues to organize this effort. We thank all the participants for their tireless work and dedication to keeping our city the best it can be.
Selfie queen.
Grants, federal, state, and regional, are leveraged with city matching funds to advance trail priorities. We now have a senior transportation manager to further our cause. Kaylee's doing a great job for city. Thank you for having her join our team. Stuff for us all to work on: safer bikeways and intersections, keeping our trails and open spaces safe for our residents, and getting it right the first time. I'm proud to live in and be a part of the city that cares about our residents and our facilities. Keeping our trails clean and inviting is a priority in Elk Grove. This is the Ryland Trail near the crossing of Bighorn. Thank you. Questions and comments?
All right, well, thank you for that excellent presentation. Any questions? I'll look to the left here. Questions, comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, no questions, but comment. Mark, thank you very much. Love the presentation. It's great to see how things are coming along. And, you and Sharon, you guys have all been part of this for so long. Your input is you see the results. Your input has been very important for the city and the trails network that we're slowly developing. I know it's not nearly fast enough.
It seems like it takes forever.
It does take forever, but you could testify firsthand about capital improvement projects, how long they take. So anyway, I just want to give you kudos and appreciate all your continued engagement.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, and I think we're gonna grab an e-bike and go with you on this one.
All
Yeah.
right.
Check it out. And I think we can rent one at the
It'll
library.
It'll be an adventure.
Yeah,
So
it's got to be an e-bike though.
it's gotta be an e-bike.
Councilmember Brewer, any questions, comments?
I just want to thank you for the presentation, and just looking at the network that we have throughout the city. And there's a lot of area that you and Sharon and the commission have addressed. But are you identifying and seeing other areas of priority or of need that needs to be addressed or at least placed into the network, or have we already covered every base? Because there's new spaces that are starting to grow in the city as well.
We've been at this a while, so I think we've got our maps in place. We know what we need to do. A lot of cases it's funding. Other cases it's just plain old willpower. But generally speaking, our next challenge, in my opinion, not necessarily committees, is going to be communicating what we have so that people can use more of it. I mean, let's face it, bike trips are less than 5% of the trips in the city, and I don't know if that will ever change, but people like to drive cars, and we need to make biking as accessible and as we possibly can, and make people feel safe doing it. So it's communication. There are safe ways to get around town. I do it all the time. I take my group every time we go, and we ride all over town, and never have an issue per se. So it's a good thing. But communication's probably going to be the next milestone to get over.
Councilmember Spies, any comments?
Yeah, just a few quick ones. So I think I came on Planning Commission maybe 2014, 2015. But I'd been showing up for, a couple of years beforehand to listen to city council. And I remember one of my earliest memories of being here, whatever, was that, again, probably, I think it was about 2010, 2011, the committee had some very strong, pointed conversations with city council back then, right? Remember?
We've refined ourselves a little, yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because I think what you were doing was pushing for more excellence for our trail system. And I think we're seeing that. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank Sharon, certainly Mark Doty as well, and others. I know there were many others along the way. But the dogged pursuit of better trails and connections I think we're really starting to see it, right? More work to be done, of course.
Sure.
But I really wanted to thank the committee for that. And of course, the anti-trash group helps not so much just with the streets, the streets that we all see, but if you ever have had an opportunity to get on a bike and, take some of our trails and look around, we have actually some very beautiful trails. And so thanks to the anti-trash group for being out there to get those cleaned up. It truly is. Please take the time, if you can, go for a walk or take a little bike ride and just check out some of the trails, and you'll see some of the beauty that really exists in Elk Grove. So thank you for being part of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to my council colleagues. Thank you, Mark, and the entire committee for your passion and commitment for our trails. I'm an avid user. I live in Stone Lake, and I've got a beautiful trail right behind my house and use that all the time. And just that connectedness back to nature, it's quite wonderful. Thank you for your tenacity and, raising the bar for all of us. So thank you. Continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up are our new hire introductions.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. I'm Bobby Davis with the Elk Grove Police Department, and I am here to introduce our new hire employees for this first quarter of 2025. I'm going to just read the names of those who have not come in, and then I will read a short bio on those who have made it. Dispatcher Breanne Carver, January 13th. Dispatcher Kiana Evans, January 27th. Dispatcher Nicole Marshall, January 27th. Red Light Enforcement Technician Rochelle Diaz, and Police Budget and Finance Manager Tamara Lopez. Now I will read the employees who are here. Officer Patrick Cummins. Patrick was born and raised in San Jose. He earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Sacramento State. Prior to joining the Elk Grove Police Department, Patrick worked for 12 years as a police officer for San Francisco PD and Folsom PD. They can have you guys stay or go. Obeida Abdallah. Victim Witness Advocate Obeida Abdallah, March 10th. Obeida was born and raised in the Bay Area and relocated to Stockton after graduating high school. She graduated from UC Davis with a bachelor's degree in sociology and obtained her master's degree in public health from the University of San Francisco. Prior to joining the Elk Grove Police Department, Obeida worked with San Joaquin County DA's office for approximately 5 years. Thank you. Officer Dylan Corkill. February 9th. Dylan was born and raised in Citrus Heights and graduated from Del Oro High School. My son graduated from Del Oro. He joined the Elk Grove Police Department as a recruit on July 15th in 2024, and Dylan graduated from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Academy on February 24th. He is currently in field training in Phase 2 and moving along well. Congratulations. Officer Christopher Falcone advanced on February 25th. Chris was born and raised in Sacramento. Was born in Sacramento and raised in Elk Grove. He graduated from Pleasant Grove High School. Chris joined the Elk Grove Police Department as a recruit on July 29th and graduated from the Sheriff's Academy on February 24th. He is currently in field training, also Phase 2, and moving along quite well. So congratulations. That's all we have for you.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I'm standing up here in my capacity as the Interim Finance Director. I'm here to introduce our new purchasing coordinator, Patty Sanford. Patty comes to us with 20 years of experience. She has a degree in organizational behavior, and she comes to us from the GSA, the U.S. Government Services Agency. We're excited that she is bringing her expertise to support our departments in procuring goods and services needed to continue providing excellent services to our community while ensuring that we're being good stewards of the public's resources. Thanks, Patty.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Kara Reddick, Deputy City Manager. I'm really excited to introduce Jeff Scanlon, the city's new Community Center Manager. You met Jeff about a month ago with his first council presentation, but Jeff joined us from the city of Rockland, where he worked there for over a decade in the Parks and Recreation Department. So he holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Sacramento State and brings a strong expertise in financial and budget management. So outside of work, he loves to golf and spend time with his wife and 4 children. So welcome, Jeff.
Good evening, everyone. Jeff Warner, your Public Works Director. First, I'd like to call up Abid Mahmood. There he is. He's already here, prompt. Also with a Parks background, Abid comes to us from Cordova Recreation and Parks District, and he worked there as a Parks maintenance worker. He was born and raised in Sacramento and moved to Elk Grove during middle school, and then attended Franklin High School. This is a nice homecoming for him. So welcome back home. And while away from work, he likes to spend time with his family. Next is Frank Zhang, who you've seen now for the 3rd time. Frank's been with the city for over 5 years, not that long for being seen 3 times up here. And that's just really a testament to who Frank is. Starting from being an intern to now being promoted to an associate engineer with our capital improvement program. He brings a wealth of institutional knowledge and a diverse mindset after coming from the operations and maintenance team. I know firsthand that he also has a fantastic work ethic and attitude that I'm very excited to bring to this team in particular. And I'm very excited to see what he does with this opportunity to deliver capital improvement projects for the city. He enjoys being outdoors and going fishing, as well as taking his daughter out to parks and giving her bike rides on her tricycle. Congratulations.
Well, excellent. Congratulations to all our new hires, promotions, and advancements. We will move on to our next item, which is public comment. And at this time, I will go ahead and open up the public comment opportunity. We have one person signed up to speak, Randy Becker.
Mayor, Council, Vice Mayor, staff. I come before you as a community member of a situation that's been going on in the Old Town area for a little while. Evidently, we've had some youth that decided that they would take their bicycles and use them and take over some of the streets, especially our busy streets, wheelies, riding against traffic. Some of this has been on social media, but Saturday I was out to breakfast and was approached by a friend of mine's daughter who's a CHP officer that lives locally here, and she told me about her experience when she was off duty. Just so happened a couple days after that, there was a post on Nextdoor that's blown up this week. A couple days after that, I ran into Sergeant Glazier, and him and I had a long conversation. He had heard a little bit, but after I sent him the Nextdoor post, I think it escalated the situation. I was just made aware that a few of the individuals were stopped this evening or late this afternoon and talked to or warned or was cited, whichever they got. The reason I'm here before you and not so much just talking with the chief or the assistant chief is because I think it's important that everybody gets involved. You folks talk to the school board, you talk to CSD, you have your 2x2s. I think it's important to have these conversations, get our youths off the street, get them to the bicycle park. We do a monthly, I think we do a monthly thing to the citizens. There should be something in that of what responsibilities, what fines are. These are nice bikes. They're not electric bikes, but they're nice bikes. And some of these kids' families may not know what exactly is going on. And we just went through a very serious situation with what they've been doing. So I just wanted to make you five aware what's going on. And I would hope that the chief, assistant chief would carry that information on with their staff, and also hopefully maybe something out of that to the community, maybe something from the PIO on next door explaining everything there is and what they need to do, and updates and what parents could expect and what the citizens could expect from not only the council but also the police department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Felicia Mattel.
Hi there. So I became aware of this meeting through actually Randy's post on Nextdoor. I don't know who he is, but we encountered this problem a year ago with these juveniles on bike. At that time, last summer, it was mostly the East Elk Grove area in our neighborhood. I think they've gotten bored of that and branched out. But anyway, I'm going to read what I prepared. It'll be quicker and easier. I'm here to voice my concern about the juveniles' reckless behavior in our neighborhood and beyond. We first encountered them last summer in East Park area of Elk Grove, between Waterman and Bradshaw. There are only a few ways out of our neighborhood. Whether we took Stonebrook or Sierra River, you will encounter these boys playing chicken with your vehicle. My husband almost hit them 2 times. When he got out of the car to reprimand them, ask them what the heck is going on, they will cuss you out, take out their phones, video, try to get a reaction. We called the police. They followed my husband in his car to our street and watched him talk to the police. They've yelled at my daughter when she's driving to work. They've harassed me. We're talking about enjoying riding bikes on the pathways. I can't do that in my neighborhood. I'm fearful I will run into these boys who will just start harassing you even on a bike. They have pulled their pants down in front of people. It's not just boys being boys. It's not just once in a while. They do this every day on a daily basis, like it is their job. I mean, when the warm weather's here, it's daily. They don't care. Their parents are aware, from what I understand. Their behavior is escalating, from what I understand. They are throwing fruit at cars. They are slapping cars. They are kicking cars. People were in the restaurants this Easter, sitting outside dining, watching them play chicken up and down Elk Grove Boulevard. It's not if, it's when that something tragic is going to happen. And I'm very concerned. I don't know if this needs to be, I'm reading this, needs to be put as an agenda, but I don't know what else to do. A year ago, it was just kind of our neighborhood. Now, Randy is correct. It is blown up. Everyone I know has had an issue with these boys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll look into this issue. It's not on the agenda, but we'll look into it. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, real quick, I can speak a little bit to it. We have had a couple of complaints. We have started to do enforcement in this area. To include today, our DFR program was vital in identifying these individuals. We had officers who were able to respond to that area, and there were 4 citations issued today. We know it's going to be an issue that we're going to have to stay on top of, so we will continue to work with our community and ensure that we can help as much as we can in this area.
All right, thank you. We will be diligent on this. I don't have anybody else signed up to speak in public comment, so I'll go ahead and close the public comment opportunity and move on to our next agenda item. Item 6, the General Administration Information, City Manager's Report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, Jason Behrmann, your city manager. A few items to report on this evening. First of all, representatives from our police department, other local agencies will join Sacramento County District 5 Supervisor Pat Hume for a town hall located or focused on public safety tomorrow night from 6 to 7 at District 56. Residents are encouraged to attend, receive updates, ask questions, and express any community concerns regarding public safety. Questions for more information, contact the District 56 office or at 916-874-5465. Our youth commission is working on two big projects to finish out the school year. The group is accepting applications from local students for a $1,000 community impact scholarship, as well as a $500 merit-based scholarship through Sunday, May 4th. Students must live or attend high school within Elk Grove city limits. Details and application forms are available on our website. They are also launching a community-wide food drive to benefit the Elk Grove Food Bank. You can help support this initiative by donating non-perishable food items at City Hall, the Animal Shelter, or District 56 between May 5th and May 19th. The city's popular Fridays in the Grove series is coming back. Series kicks off on Friday, May 2nd at Old Town Plaza with Country in the Plaza. Guests can learn to line dance from a professional choreographer and enjoy live music from the All Hat No Cattle Band. Other events planned in the series include the return of Wagon Walk on May 16th, an outdoor roller rink June 6th, Christmas in July with an outdoor ice rink July 18th, a dive-in movie at the Aquatic Center on August 15th, the Silent Disco on September 5th, and more. These events are free and open to all ages. More information is available on the city's website. And finally, the Economic Development Team, in collaboration with the Small Business Administration and SAC's Startup SAC, is hosting a Small Business Resource Expo to kick off Capital Region Small Business Week on Monday, May 5th from 11 to 3 at McConnell Estates Winery. The event offers entrepreneurs and small business owners the opportunity to connect with regional support organizations, build their networks, and learn about valuable resources available to help their business grow. To receive the registration link, email econdev@elkgrovecity.org. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Thank you for your report. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next item. Thank you. Next is our consent calendar items. At this time, I'll open up public comment opportunity for consent items. I don't have anyone sign up to speak. I'll close the public comment opportunity and look for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item. Let's see, 9.1, receive information and provide direction regarding the allocation of fiscal year 2025-26 event sponsorship grant program funds. Welcome, Ms. Moreno.
Thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I'm Jody Moreno, the Community Events Program Manager for the City of Elk Grove, and I'm here today to share with you the recommended funding allocations for the FY 25-26 Event Sponsorship Grant Program. Some of the basics about the program, as some of you know and some of you don't, you're learning about it today. It was started in 2012. It is supported by our general fund. We do have a standardized application process, so it's fair and equitable to anyone who wants to apply. We have established eligibility criteria that we share every year with any nonprofits that are wanting to sign up for this. And we want to make sure that the sponsorship funding is focused on events with citywide significance that meet the city's goals. It is limited to nonprofit organizations with events in the Elk Grove city limits. And programming and operations are ineligible. And one of the things I really want to point out is how unique this program is. Every year I stand up here and I say, oh, I'm so excited because we get to help all these nonprofits do these events in Elk Grove. I want to share that in the last 3 years in my event conferences that I attend, I went to a Municipal Summits one this year and I went to IFEA last year, which is International Festival Events Association. We are one of the only cities in the nation that has this program. It's pretty amazing. I feel so fortunate that we're able to give this funding to so many nonprofits to help support the events that they have in Elk Grove. A lot of the other cities have a program, but everyone has to fill out a special events permit, and nonprofits still have to pay 50% of whatever the costs are, whether that's police for a parade, public works for a road closure, facility use. And our program has been able to fund, for the most part,
close to 100% of the needs for a lot of these nonprofits. So I just wanted to point that out because it's a really special program. And actually, one of the people that I work with in another city across the nation has reached out to me, and we've had some talks, and I'm helping him build a program like this in his city. So it's just so neat. I'm so proud of all the work we do for our nonprofits. The application process was that we released the application in mid-January. It was advertised in the Citizen, on our website, social media, and we reached out to all previous nonprofits and those that had been sent to us over the year that we thought might be interested in the program. Everybody submitted their applications online, and we did do a technical webinar on January 21st, and we had more than 35 people there, which was a lot for us that we had done before. And the applications will due in February 21st. We do want to note that all grantees have to be in good standing with the California Secretary of State and the Registry of Charitable Trust. We do that when they apply, prior to entering contract and throughout the process and before we pay for the event. So we check those continuously to make sure that they are in good standing. We received 50 eligible applications this year from nonprofits, the most we've had in a few years. The total amount requested from the nonprofits exceeded $850,000, and that's in cash and in kind, which would be police, public works, facility, integrated waste. We did do a multi-department review, and we had a panel, and we evaluated all of the events, and that was based on their concept. Were they feasible? If there was a prior performance, they have to put in post reports with us, and we can see how many people attended, the budget, everything like that. Can they attract regional visitors? Is their budget reasonable? And we want to make sure that the level of impact and citywide significance is great for the city. And of the 50, we are recommending 44 for funding this year. And that was to make sure we could fit everyone in our budget. I know you have the list in front of you with all of the recommendations, so I won't read each one, but I will point out some of the new ones we have this year too that are of interest. The Holly Festival of Colors is a new one that will be coming to Elk Grove Park that we'd like to support. We have Artners, and they do Day of la Concha. They also do Dia de los Muertos. They put on some amazing events in our area. We have 2 new celebrations on this slide as well, a voter registration and cultural celebration, and a Filipino-American History Month event. Both of those are new. MLK Breakfast will be coming back, and that was a real good success this past January for anyone who attended. We had an application for a Juneteenth event at Elk Grove Plaza. Last year it was a rental, and this year they applied formally to host their event at the plaza. Bounty on the Boulevard coming back. The Elk Grove Fine Arts Festival of the Arts, which is this coming weekend, if anyone wants to see it. Run for Hunger will be coming back. The Elk Grove Historical Society has their 3 events that we've been supporting over the years. We've got the Holiday Parade of Lights, which is so much fun with our Illumination Festival. Western Festival, fingers crossed, will come back this year. Running of the Elk. We have Franklin High School Band Review. A new Punjabi cultural event at the park that has applied for a grant. Dia de los Miles was new to our grant system last year, but not new to the city. But that's a really great event that not only does a run, but also a cultural celebration. Elk Grove Pride is new. That's been happening at Laguna Town Hall for the last 2 years, and this is the first time they've asked for some support. Strauss Festival, a flamenco concert. They applied last year, but they weren't able to host at the plaza. They asked for indoor space in order to make sure that their sound could be good, and so we're suggesting that they be funded. International Peace Festival, they also applied last year, but weren't able to host, and hopefully this year they will. And a new fairy tale festival from Village Stage Productions, which is a really neat thing, and they have like 2,000 to 3,000 people come for their event. Our next steps are for you to look over the allocations and approve, and if so, it'll be moving on as part of our budget process. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Great seeing all the new names.
Yeah, it's exciting.
All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and open up public comment. We have 4 people signed up to speak. We'll start with Sharon Anderson, followed by Brett Bartholomew.
Hello, Madam Mayor and council members. Sharon Anderson. Hat I'm wearing right now is the president of the Camden Neighborhood Association. I have a few hats, so that's the one I'm on. I want to thank Jody for an incredible job she did this year with her folks to get this organized for the event sponsorship grants. She's fabulous. Don't ever lose her. And I really appreciate her recommendation to include the Camden Neighborhood Association Music by the Lake event again for this upcoming fiscal year, September. Hope you all come. You're all invited. The whole community can come. Homegrown community events are critical to the fabric of vitality and livability for our city, as you all know. You've attended many of them, so have I, and it's really cool to see things that are outside of the normal sponsorship of a parks department or a jurisdiction. So it's really cool. Anyhow, Camden Neighborhood Association has hosted community events for more than 25 years. We have several during the year. We've had to pare back a little bit because our membership has declined. People don't donate the $50 a year, which is a pittance, and that's what we use to fund most of our events. And when we first found out about this event grant sponsorship, it helped us host Music by the Lake. That's a very expensive endeavor. It's done by all volunteers. And then, we get a little kick from you guys. Thank you so much. And also in kind from our chief and his staff. We get a couple of officers that get to hang out and patrol, hoping it's Bobby this year, but whatever. And then we also get Republic Services dropping off bins so that we have places to throw our trash and recyclables. People don't do that when they're partying, but we try to encourage them to do that. So this grant, it's a little bump from last year, has really helped us keep up. So that's all. And I hope you guys approve what Jody's put forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Brett Bartholomew, followed by Alma Lopez.
Hello, Council, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members and staff. Thank you. Really want to recognize Jody and this panel that came together. That sounds like a fun job to decide who doesn't get supported or who does. 800,000 plus is an incredible amount of money to be asked for, but you guys every year are so generous as a city. The amount of money that was presented, and I want to make note that the City of Elk Grove put out a job application for a community events specialist. They're going to have a fun job. That's looking forward to seeing what they do. I'm here as a representative of the Elk Grove Historical Society. I just want to thank you for your continued partnership and the support for us. We started as next year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we started originally with the road school relocation and restoration, and that building is from 1872. Like our history, the town right now where Darryl recognized. I met with him recently at an event, and he commented that the town itself, we're in our 175th year. That's amazing. 1850. I know next year or July we're celebrating our 25th anniversary as a city, but our history is happening currently. But 1872 is in road school. We originally relocated this road school to Elk Grove Park as part of the bicentennial celebration in 1976. And currently at Heritage Park we have the Elk Grove House and Stage Stop, which is from 1850. We have a blacksmith shop which displays a lot of the local brands. We have the San Joaquin County Township Jailhouse from 1912. Chief Davis, I'd love to have you come there, do a little photo shoot. It'd be nice. We also have the Folks House, which is the oldest residence in town from 1853. That was recently renovated by the Chamber of Commerce leadership team. And just specifically the three events you guys are supporting, every dollar counts. We didn't ask for big dollars for those things, but that 1,000, 2,000 and the in-kind and funding for the Raise the Barn using the space at District 56 is really appreciated. Our spring tea, we have 200 attendees. Tickets are still available. We have the Raise the Barn, 300 people. We're looking forward to having that event again. And then our Old Fashioned Christmas is probably the best event we have. It's a lot of fun. We have community members come out, bring their families. It's an opportunity for you to come take a photo with Santa, right? You can even have him sit on your lap if you're feeling froggy. We had 300 attendees in one day, our most ever. This last year, we had 1,600 total. But that's, you got to get a little color. How many speakers do you have that want to? Okay. And then, so the Old Fashioned Christmas is every Friday, Saturday, Sunday in December before Christmas. So we have 3 weekends this year. Looking forward to having those 3 events. And thank you again, Council, for your support.
Thank you. Next up is Alma Lopez, followed by Kim Perino.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. My name is Alma Lopez. I'm the board chair at the Latino Center of Art and Culture, and I'm here to express a deep appreciation for the proposed sponsorship allocation to support the upcoming Dia de los Miles 5K on October 26. Mark your calendar. Since 2023, the Latino Center of Art and Culture has proudly partnered with Fleet Feet as a community beneficiary of this race. Our collaboration brings a deeply rooted cultural element to the event by honoring a tradition of Dia de los Muertos. One of the most moving aspects we contribute is a community altar, o una ofrenda, where runners and their families are invited to add photos of their loved ones who have passed. It's a powerful act of remembrance, reflection, and community connection that adds a unique layer of holistic wellness to the race through art and culture. In addition, our Cultura es Fuerza, Culture is Strength youth program showcases traditional performances, uplifting the crowd with music, dance, and cultural pride. These young people practice throughout the year and take great pride in sharing what they learn in this community event. With your support, we are excited to grow this event by increasing participation and enhancing cultural programming. Thank you for recognizing the value of this cultural partnership and for investing in the event that brings people together in remembrance, celebration, and wellness. It's worth mentioning that six of the young women that participate in the event are from Elk Grove. This year we have 15 youth that have signed up. It usually goes up to 20. But 5 of them have continued, and they are from Elk Grove. So it is with great pride that they come back to their community to showcase what they have learned. Tomorrow, actually, they will be presenting their first performance of the year at Markoffer Elementary in their multicultural day. I also want to take a quick second just to big a shout out to Jody Moreno and her team for coordinating this sponsorship and also making themselves available to answer any questions and guide us through the process. Thank you also, Councilmember Sergio Robles, for the support, continuous support. And we look forward to seeing you all this year, October 26th. You can run, you can walk, you can just enjoy the day and be in community. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Perino, is that you? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Alma. I'm Kim Perino. I'm part of the Fleet Feet organization. I'm a local small business here in Elk Grove. This event was established 4 years ago as a cultural event, and we want to thank Jody Moreno for responding to this event, which is more than just a run, it's a cultural event. We look forward to growing this event along with the collaboration with our event beneficiary, the Latino Center of Arts and Culture. We want to thank you for recognizing that it has value in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes the public comments on this item. I'll go ahead and close the public comment opportunity and open up for questions.
Before we start any deliberation, let me ask a question of council, because I think I might be not able to participate in part of the conversation. Mr. Hobbs? Elk Grove Regional Scholarship Foundation, I'm a board member of. Is that any different than when we were doing the CDBG? Do I need to excuse myself?
Yes, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Please excuse yourself.
So I think that's the only one.
We'll address that first, so you give yourself about 15 seconds.
Thank you.
There you go.
Move to support the Elk Grove Community Foundation Bounty on the Boulevard.
Second.
Okay, so this is not, we're just providing overall
Sorry.
direction.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we will be supportive.
We'll support that one.
We're supporting it. All right. Maybe he'll be back in 5 seconds.
Come on back.
15 seconds, that was
Oh,
pretty
then the door finally shuts.
All right, for the rest of the items, do you want,
I'm happy to support.
okay, we're not looking for a vote, but are there any questions, comments? Are we good with the direction that?
Quick
Ms.
comment,
Moreno-
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. So first, I see I'm happy to support all these items on here, but just because some of the speakers came up and I see some of the new additions that were these events, it just made me think, I so appreciate and thank all of you, these nonprofits that are putting forth these events that really showcase that we are a city welcome to all. These things that, we rely on you. We couldn't do this. And Ms. Moreno is talking about other cities who can't afford to fund all their events. We couldn't do it either. And so the partnership with you is so important. And you organizing and making the effort to put these forth We really appreciate that, and it makes me very proud to be part of this city and a representative as well. And Jody, thank you for your hard work and your whole team for their dedication in continuing to make this a really great program, which apparently is getting national attention now. So
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Moreno, for your amazing work on this. I just want to, with the work with the MLK breakfast, that was something beautiful that a lot of our folks got to do. And if you have not been to the MLK breakfast, please go. It's definitely, it's like going to church. It's very gospel-oriented, and it's pretty awesome to get to honor Dr. King. And as well as the Artners, Dia de la Concha, that was last week, I believe. And that was an amazing event. And then talking with residents who said they couldn't believe that this was the second time that they did it, that they were so, that they wished it would have been at the first one. And then not only that, but they highlight some of our local restaurants. There was a lot of our local taquerias too. Street Slant Tacos was there. So it's pretty good that, we're highlighting community members and restaurants. And then also Dia de los Mayos, I always got to give a shout out because they do face paintings and they do ofrendas. And not only that, but they bring community together. So thank you for all your hard work, and thank you to the nonprofits that work extremely hard because you guys are bringing culture. You guys are bringing diversity, and it's making our city more beautiful. Thank you.
Councilmember Brewer?
Thank you, Jody.
You're welcome. It's not just me, we have a whole team, but yeah, thank you, I really appreciate that.
It was definitely a team effort, and I was looking in the Sacramento Bee over the weekend, and Consumer Affairs did a ranking of top 10 most livable cities or places you want to live in California. Roseville was number 1, Visalia was ranked number 2, Clovis was ranked number 3, Elk Grove was ranked number 4. All of them had a common thread of quality of life, public safety, but also the events, the community events, the cultural events that take place every week. And there's always something for the public to do. Elk Grove is really good at doing this and has gotten better over the years. And the list and the range, there's like range in programs that are on the agenda, from the American Legion's events, the MLK breakfast. We have a Juneteenth event coming up. Bubble Frenzy. We're going to have a Holi festival. You have a Punjabi cultural event coming up. You have so many things happening, but they're all done with the spirit of helping everyone get a better understanding of each other so we can live and thrive here in Elk Grove. So with all that said, I want to thank you and your team, because this is a very concentrated effort, and to make sure that we are utilizing our general fund money or our block grant money for all of these programs, whether it's for paying for the use of a facility or covering for all the other expenses that comes with it, because a lot of these events come out of price, but it's as long as the other side reaches us halfway, we can make a lot of magic happen. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to my colleagues for your comments. I do love, I thought you already went. You said you support it all. You have more?
I was just talking, but
all right, go for it.
It's all right. No,
You can
okay.
get some more.
All right. So I'm old enough to remember a time when there wasn't a whole lot of government in Elk Grove. There weren't a whole lot of restaurants. There wasn't a whole lot of much. What there was community, right? And what there was community events, and they were put on by volunteers. We had things that you haven't even heard of today's world, like donkey basketball, believe it or not. Donkey basketball, we used to play, the teachers versus the high school students would get on donkeys, play basketball in the gym at Elk Grove High School. The point, it's true. It's absolutely true. Donkeys. And so, it's true. So, my point in saying this is that these community events, while there are even more now, which is absolutely fantastic, are a fabric of who we are as a community. And so I'm glad to see that we have the ability to support them, because we truly do have a different vibe, a different feeling here in Elk Grove. Sometimes people say that the sense of community is gone. I don't agree with that. particularly given that, we continue to have these events that really define who we are as a community. And so I want to thank you, Jody, and the rest of your team for making those happen. And so, yes, I'm happy to support.
Well, thank you to my colleagues for your excellent comments, and thank you, Jody, and the entire team for putting this very thorough and thoughtful list together. What I love is seeing all of the diverse cultures represented in here. And for those of you who might be wondering what is a holy festival, it's holy with an I, not a Y. So it's not religious. It's celebrating spring. So for those of you who have not participated, it's quite colorful and a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And like I said at the onset, I love seeing all of the new programs that we will be supporting. And I think this is when I think of sense of community, it's seeing programs and events and festivals that appeal to me. And we know that Elk Grove is beautifully diverse. And so our sense of community comes with that connectedness, knowing that we are reflecting the values and the needs of our diverse residents. So thank you for doing an excellent job here. And I too support the direction that we're moving in.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. And thanks to PD, Public Works, District 56, and Republic Services. They do a lot of work on these too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All right, with that, we will move on to item 9.2.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Sarah Bontrager, your Housing and Public Services Manager. The item I have for you tonight is consideration of our Old Town Affordable Housing Project, a development and a disposition and development agreement, or DDA, including our loan term sheet and loan commitment for that. This is similar to an item that you heard a couple of weeks ago for the Abode project. So I'll fly through the site, some of the slides rather quickly, but if you have any questions, please do let me know. This is our affordable housing fund that we're proposing using for this site. The site in question tonight is our Old Town site. The city acquired it in 2023. It's a series of 4 parcels along Elk Grove Boulevard near Webb Street. It is just a little distance away from the future Elk Grove Library, which will be a great amenity for the project. In 2023, we did some requests for proposals. We got 12 developers that were interested in partnering on this site, and after a thorough selection process, we chose Mutual Housing to partner with. We did an LOI with them in 2024 and extended it in 2025. Their project is an 89-unit senior affordable housing development. They've been through the community consultation process, held 3 community meetings, revised the design based on that, and they have submitted their planning entitlement application. It is not yet approved, but we expect that in the coming months. A range of unit sizes, mostly 1-bedrooms for the senior population, but we do have some 2-bedrooms, especially for those folks that may have a live-in caregiver. That's a great unit size. And we have a good number of units that are set aside for extremely low-income seniors and a variation for very low-income and low-income seniors. Our project amenities at this site include a community room with fitness equipment and computers, a lot of outdoor spaces, multiple outdoor courtyards. The project does have 2 elevators since it is a senior project, and on-site laundry. As a part of the property management, they will be providing 12 hours a week minimum of on-site services targeted towards seniors. The project will merge the 4 parcels into 1 parcel and is near, as I mentioned, the library, but also a lot of shopping resources. And our hope is that seniors will be able to get around here without a car if they so choose. So we've got the site plan up here. Our developer partner is here tonight, and we'll talk a little bit more about the site plan, but you can see here the multiple outdoor spaces, plaza area, and some effort to get some good tree cover at the site. Overall, this project cost is about $51 million. about $571,000 per unit. The city subsidy is about $48,000 per unit, which is higher than some of our other recent projects, in part because it's a smaller project at 89 units. So the developer plans to use 4% tax credits and state bond funding, as well as get a $6 million mortgage on the property. And then they have a few other smaller funding sources that they'll be using. So the developer did a loan application with the city, and that was reviewed by staff in the Affordable Housing Committee. We have a good partner, we think, in Mutual Housing. They've been around since 1988. They've done more than 20 affordable housing projects in Northern California, but this will be their first project in Elk Grove. Staff really likes that it adds some senior units. We have not built a new affordable senior project since 2011, so it is time to do that. And we think that this has a great complement of services, on-site property management, and a good location. What we always see with our projects is that there are some weaknesses. These are similar across all of our affordable housing portfolio. The rental revenue is projected to rise more slowly than the operating expenses. There are ways that developers typically make up for that, though. The replacement reserve, if they had to really do a lot of repairs on the project, wouldn't be adequate to maintain it over the 55-year regulatory agreement period. And the city will likely only receive small payments, if any payments, in most years. There's a lot of there's reasons, despite those weaknesses, to fund the project. We need more senior housing in the city. We do have a strong housing market. These units are likely to be pretty consistently full, especially at the income levels that they're targeting. And the city's objective with the Affordable Housing Fund is to provide gap financing to make sure that these projects can move forward. A part of our typical transaction is our loan term sheet, which clarifies what we expect to agree to once we do our full loan documents. Staff, the Affordable Housing Committee, and the developer have negotiated terms that we are all mutually agreeable to, including a loan amount of $4.2 million. That's $3 million in cash from the city and $1.2 million of land value. We already own the land. 4% interest, 35-year term. They have until the end of 2026 to secure all their necessary funding. The units will be deed restricted for 55 years. A difference between this one and previous loans that we've brought forward to the council is that because the city owns this property, we have to do a development and disposition and development agreement, the DDA. That is a legally binding agreement that sets forth the conditions for selling the city-owned property to the developer. It includes our typical loan term sheet, along with other terms that are meant to protect the city. The Affordable Housing Committee also reviewed the DDA. We will not be transferring the property until the developer secures all their necessary financing. When we do transfer the property, the city land is transferred as is. The developers have the right of entry to do their studies and due diligence on the property. We do get certain rights in case there's a default or a breach of the contract, and it holds the developer to the project design that the planning department is currently working towards approving, and towards some key milestones in building the project. So along with the DDA tonight, we are asking the council to declare the land exempt surplus. When we purchased this land, this is how we anticipated disposing of the land. And we believe that the project meets the Surplus Land Act exemption. Because the developer is restricting all of the units, it serves lower income households and it has a 55-year deed restriction on it. The State Department of Housing and Community Development will make the final determination as to the land's exempt surplus status, but in our consultations with them, they seemed pretty amenable to the fact that this is an exempt surplus property. So the Affordable Housing Committee recommendation was 2-0 that the council approve the DDA and the conditional loan commitment consistent with the draft DDA and loan term sheet. So the council's options are to approve that, which will allow the developer to go after the 4% tax credits in May. You could also request continued negotiations with the DDA to come back at a future date, or you have the option of denying the DDA. So that is my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions now. We do have a representative from Mutual Housing here with a brief presentation also. Seeing no immediate questions, I'll ask Revati to come forward and I'll get her presentation up.
Hello. Hi, I'm Revati, Project Manager from Mutual Housing, California. I'd like to thank the entire council, mayor, and city staff for providing me the opportunity to present our project today. Since Sarah has already provided an overview of the project, I'd like to go into maybe details about the project timeline. Overall, this is a senior housing project with 89 units, mostly one bedrooms. And the timeline is such that currently we are in the entitlements phase. We would be applying for the 4% tax credit application in May. And with an award in August, we would be ready to break ground in February of next year. The construction would be completed in September of 2027 with the lease up done by March of 2028. This is a night view of the front facade of the project. It's designed to address resident requirements while blending in with the larger community. This 3-storied building has unique entrance features and a play of massing. We have balconies, which follows the design principle of having eyes on the street. We will have brick, 2 shades of brick, and a fiber cement cladding on the facades. Since this is a night view, we will see the actual design elements, the red brick structures in the following slides. This is one of the 3 courtyards that we have planned at this development. There will be 2 quiet courtyards and 1 active courtyard. So this is the active courtyard, which would have barbecue spaces, sitting areas, and lawn areas for the seniors. These were the 3 3 courtyards that I mentioned, 2 quiet ones. We also have a dog play area along with the parking at the east corner of the site. Most of the parking is all surface parking, but we also have some tuck under parking at this property. So this would be the facade of the building. The red brick would pretty much be similar to the facade of this particular building that we are currently in. Yeah, so this is just the massing study of the project. And yeah, thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and open up public comment opportunity. We have 1 person signed up to speak, Randy Becker.
Hit my belly. Mayor, Vice Mayor, staff, I've been supportive of this project from the beginning. It is well needed and it's a great location. And it takes and gives something that's needed for lower income seniors and et cetera. However, my issue has always been with the design, and the design happens to do with the parking. If you know the boulevard, you will know that area backs up and there's very little ways to get around that. And I believe that if you look at the parking lot east entrance, that should be only a right out, not an in. All the traffic should go through the complete project and come off the street because there's a stop sign. And at some point, there's going to be a stoplight at Craig Street or Kent Street. So the point is minor. However, it will be major when it deals with traffic after this thing is built. And all you got to do is go down the boulevard on a 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, even 5. It's bad. And it's not going to get better. Not at all. So that's the only disagreement I have. And that disagreement has been clear from the beginning. It's not a surprise to the applicant nor staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. That's our final public comment speaker, so I will go ahead and close public comment and open it up for council questions, comments. I'll start to the left.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I just request Jeff to respond to Mr. Becker's comment?
Yeah, and I'd be happy to respond, but I'm going to allow Christopher to respond first. I believe the project would be subject to a traffic analysis before any final decisions are made, but I'll let CJ weigh in on that.
Well, I mean, the site's designated for high-density residential. It's been rezoned for that. Our general plan identifies Elk Grove Boulevard as a 2-lane facility. In terms of the access in and out, yeah, that's something that gets analyzed as part of the project, and we haven't finished completing the analysis there. However, generally speaking, Randy's right. Yes, the signal at Kent Street is the prioritization, and that's currently what's been planned and shown in our traffic plans as having a signalized intersection. I don't know that this will warrant any additional side street control, but it's certainly something we can take a look at more.
Okay, so it's not done yet. You'll adjust as
we can certainly take a look at it, but I don't know that we're going to meet warrants to trigger doing something, but we'll take a look at it.
Oh, okay. Okay, please do. Thank you. Yeah, just as part of the committee, we wholeheartedly support of this. I think this project will be a good transformation of the streetscape in Old Town. It's going to be something very unique that isn't there now, serving through what we already heard our seniors and allowing them the opportunity to live nearby and walk to things. So really excited about that. I was very excited to see the balconies on here, and I thank the applicant over and over for that. Apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like there was less concern about maintenance in these balconies, and maybe it's the demographic it serves, but that was very good to hear. So with that, we were happy to support the project.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, any comments?
Just concur with Councilman Sue, and I guess everybody's starting to know that we like balconies in Elk Grove, so.
Councilmember Brewer?
No, I'm very pleased with how all this went out. I really appreciated the community outreach that was done. I participated in a couple of them, and just listening to the community feedback from Old Town was very helpful. I believe it really put a good set of eyes and ears to help level the aesthetics on what is necessary, and showing folks what of the different projects that your organization has done throughout the state. In drawing these comparisons, I think brought a lot of comfort to myself. Hopefully they did that to many of the folks who attended. The public safety, for me, public safety was a concern, and making sure you had ingress, egress of fire equipment when there is a fire. And if there's a large fire, how can you get multiple units onto the site to make sure that that we're addressing the safety of the residents in the facility. And one of the other things, and hopefully I didn't mishear, that there are 2 elevators at this complex, which was, for me, a high importance, especially when you have people that are mobility limited, being able to go from floor 3 to floor 1 and having an elevator nearby to go downstairs, or if you're unable to take the stairs, especially if you're in an area where the fire is not in your direct vicinity, was very important for me. And hopefully that was something that resonated really well. But on the whole, this was, I like this. This is a very sound approach. I like the direction where you're going. But definitely on the part of the coming in and out on Elk Grove Boulevard from that corner, because from Webb Street up to the entrance, that's where the traffic is really at its heaviest, especially as we have a library that will be open nearby in the very near future as well. And so definitely if there's anything that continue conversations, working with the city to make sure that those needs are being met, will be very helpful. But on the whole, very, very pleased with this project. Thank you.
Councilmember Spies?
All right, I guess I'm going to overuse this joke a little bit here tonight, but I'm old enough to remember when this parcel didn't even have a path that went through it. I mean, it was a dirt path across. It turned muddy. It was not good, right? And for a number of years, there was comments, concerns. What can we do with this thing? You know, it just sat for a long time. There were a number of ideas, and then this comes along. I think it's a fantastic addition to Old Town. Not to carry on the conversation about the balconies too much, but I think it is an important point that my personal opinion that I believe that it adds an opportunity for residents to get more light and air. It makes it more open. It makes it a more pleasant space for them to be in. And I think it also serves to break up the monotony of a monolithic building like we might see in other locations. And so I'm really glad to see those balconies. I hope they stay there for the final design. Because we've seen that happen before. I'll leave it there. But no, I'm really glad to see it, and I'm happy to support this, and I'm really glad to see that we're able to make something. We're going to be able to make something that will be a positive addition to Elk Grove and to our residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Don't have much more to add to what my colleagues already stated. This is a much-needed project addressing our affordable housing needs, particularly for seniors. I did have the opportunity to meet the new head of mutual housing last week, and that was fantastic. It's just great to partner with somebody that has been doing the work statewide. So thank you all, and then thank you to the subcommittee as well for the work that you've done to get us here.
Thank you.
With that, I will look for a motion.
Yeah, move to adopt the resolution.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next up,
Congratulations.
9.3.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is Sarah Rodriguez. I have the privilege of being your Economic Development Analyst, and today I'm joined with Casey Fabry, the Marketing and Event Manager for Explore Elk Grove. So this evening, we're here to share an update and seek your feedback on the future direction of Main Street Elk Grove's campaign, which we first launched in June of 2023. Our goal is to build on the momentum we've created and ensure the campaign continues to reflect your vision for our community. So we'd like to start by providing some background. I'm going to go over some agenda so you know where we're going with this. Some background on what we began as a 6-month campaign. Casey and I will walk you through everything that's been accomplished so far and the impact of those efforts. To build on the momentum of the initial campaign, we looked at how other downtown areas approach similar efforts and compiled a detailed list, and you will see a detailed list, for your consideration. Please keep in mind that these are ideas that we've started to explore the feasibility of. But before we got too far, we wanted to bring it to your attention and get your direction. So following the 6-month program, we held open houses with our Main Street businesses to gather feedback, which played a key role in shaping the concepts that we'll show you today. We sought some input from Historical Preservation Committee and the Old Town Foundation, which we'll also share with you as well. And then finally, we'll wrap up outlining the 3 areas of focus that we would like your feedback on moving forward. So as a quick refresher, when we first launched the campaign, the majority of our resources were focused on revitalizing the area commonly known as Old Town, so this area here. It soon became clear that by expanding the boundaries to include businesses that are closer to 99 here, the 2 sub-districts could benefit from a shared branding. So I think that's evident with the inflow of businesses that we've been seeing, right? Thule Coffee House, Vintage Americana, and Station 16, just to name a few in that stretch. We'll dive into opportunities to evolve the brand in just a bit, but for now, please keep in mind that when we refer to Main Street, this is what we're referring to right here.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So before we go into our proposed plan for 2.0, we did want to give a background on the marketing plan. So on June 14th of 2023, the historic Downtown Elk Grove campaign was developed with goals of revitalizing the area, attracting visitors, boosting economic impact, and promoting local businesses. The campaign was executed through print and digital advertising, signature events, PR efforts, and placemaking in order to establish brand recognition and really position Main Street as a hub for dining, shopping, and entertainment. Strategies included creating a vibrant logo and branding guideline with key elements such as the iconic water tower, which were then carried over into placemaking concepts like light pole banners and a mural sticker at Old Town Plaza. The brand was activated on Explore Elk Grove's website with a dedicated landing page, on social media with Instagram and Facebook accounts, advertisements in Elk Grove's movie theaters, and direct mailers sent to 7,000 recipients who live in neighborhoods across town. Main Street also came to life many times with events at Old Town Plaza and surrounding businesses, inviting visitors to the area. These are some of our high-level achievements. So from the start of the campaign in July of 2023 to now, we've attracted over 7,700 individuals to the Main Street landing page. This page includes things to do on Main Street, history information, business listings, and an events calendar. Our social media accounts have seen just under 15,000 page visits on Instagram and Facebook. We've submitted 33 media pitches about Main Street businesses and events, with 18 pieces of earned media coverage on outlets like KCRA, Good Day, and Visit California. Lastly, Main Street has seen over 12 signature events come to Old Town Plaza, which include Uncorked and Uncapped, Fridays in the Grove Comedy Night, and the Main Street Stroll Brew Bike Experience. Next, we're going to dive into some point of interest data that's gathered from the Tourism Economics platform. This is based on mobile device location tracking. This shows a breakdown of percentage of new visitors for the POIs that we actively collect data from on Main Street. So as you can see, from August 2023 to March 2025, we see that 55.8% of visitors were new for West Coast Taco Bar, and 44.4% were new for the Elk Park Shopping Center and Bilu Boutique. We do want to recognize that there are several factors that attract new visitors to these points of interest, with the Main Street brand and promotion likely being one of them. However, this is not a direct causation, but rather a positive correlation. So where do we go from here? We've established the brand and caught people's attention. So to further instill our vision and continue to increase visitation, we've come up with a long-term strategy that focuses on strengthening Main Street through marketing and community engagement. Throughout this presentation of the 2.0 marketing plan, you will find new placemaking concepts, digital and print marketing expansion, and community engagement opportunities that will continue to position Main Street and its local businesses as a must-see destination in Elk Grove.
So after the initial 6-month campaign, we didn't want the brand efforts to lose momentum, so we did continue several low-cost initiatives. These included advertisement on Facebook and Instagram, getting Main Street messaging into rotation on the Highway 99 billboard, and maintaining and enhancing the Main Street webpage which was updated with up-to-date imagery, business listings, and active event calendar. We also printed posters to promote upcoming events in the district and ordered branded collateral items to distribute at tabling events, community gatherings, and the Explore Elk Grove Visitor Center. Now that you've had a refresher on what's been done, we'd like to share a vision for how we can build on this initial foundation. While the details, again, are still being finalized, we want to be thoughtful about next steps rather than investing in larger scale initiatives prematurely. We're here tonight to get your input and direction, both from council and our community, on where we should focus our efforts moving forward. We'll start by reviewing some of those placemaking concepts. So we're proposing, one is bike racks. We're proposing the city invest in approximately 30 bike racks featuring the Main Street logo and colors to be instilled throughout the district of Main Street. This initiative would not only enhance our branding efforts, but make the area more pedestrian friendly, support alternative transportation as well. We estimate this to be about $35,000. We're proposing that the city also invest in enhancing lighting within the historic Main Street area. Well-lit spaces help people feel safer. It encourages them to stay out later and shop and eat and things like that. And it also adds warmth and charm to the atmosphere of the district. So to explore what's feasible, we looked into how other cities use lighting to elevate these downtowns and consulted with our public works team. Based on those conversations, staff is recommending to move forward with lighting along the streets, like you see here in Midtown, Sacramento, and Santa Cruz, rather than across the street, like you see here in Los Angeles, and incorporating seasonal tree lighting, like you see here in District 56. Lighting strung across the street would require significant infrastructure changes, as the current height of the historic Main Street light poles would not allow for safe clearance of emergency vehicles and delivery trucks. Similarly, permanently wrapping the trees in lights would result in ongoing maintenance because trees grow. So, all right, so moving on, part of the feedback that we heard from our open houses, which we'll go over in just a bit, were that our current banners that are in historic Main Street highlight eating, drinking, and playing, but have no reference to shopping. To address this, we're proposing to print 14 new banners featuring shopping-related imagery and messaging. These would be incorporated alongside the existing banners throughout Historic District to create more balanced and inclusive representation of the businesses in the area. And we estimate this will be about $3,800. So that covers the smaller banners within the Historic District, but there are also an opportunity for larger, more semi-permanent banners along Highway 99 and Kent Street. You see those dots there. Those each represent a light pole that they could be on. So we currently have 2 timeframes we can display Main Street banners if we choose to get them printed, October to November of 2025 and January to March of 2026. Longer display periods would require changes to the current programming that Public Affairs manages, which we are proposing that we make. We have the option to either replace all 35 banners that you see there or alternate between semi-permanent banners with seasonal ones. Either approach aims to clearly signal to drivers that they've entered a distinct and branded part of the city. Another element that you might want to consider are pole wraps as a pedestrian-friendly branding tool. So they're positioned at eye level, as you see there with the man with his hand against the pole. They're great for catching attention of people walking through the district, and by including things like QR codes on it, that link to the Main Street website, we can connect our visitors with business listings, events, and promotions, making the street more vibrant, informative, and engaging. If we wrapped 40 poles, that would come to about $13,000. And while surveying the area for opportunities, we noticed a standalone sign that refers to the district as Old Town. To maintain consistency in branding, we're proposing to replace it with signs that align with the Main Street brand at a cost of $250. Another item to consider is these 3D large Main Street letters as a bold, eye-catching landmark for the district near Old Town Plaza. These letters would serve multiple purposes, creating a memorable photo opportunity for those, especially those who are attending events at the plaza, and reinforcing the district's identity and enhancing the overall vitality of Main Street. While this would be one of the larger expenses, it would be a one-time cost for a feature that would be widely used and highly visible. And we've received constant feedback that, consistent feedback that businesses like Dust Bowl Brewing and the new Horn Barbecue space lack visibility from the street. And many people aren't aware that these destinations are just down the way. So to address this and make the railroad area more visually vibrant, we're proposing to install branded mesh to help guide drivers and highlight these opportunities. We've already had discussions with Railroad and plan to finalize those conversations if you decide to move forward with this, and that would be priced at $9,000. We're also proposing as an option to brand the fence behind Old Town Plaza with a mesh wrap. So the design shown here is just a concept, it's not final. Our goal would be to ensure that the design aligns with the overall Main Street branding while keeping in mind any advertising type of language out of the concept, because we know that the plaza is supposed to serve as a welcoming community gathering space. So that's not really where we want to have the shop play signal there.
Next up for brand recognition, we have collateral. So this was part of the 1.0 plan and would be carried on to the 2.0 plan. Really gives people something tangible to walk around with the Main Street brand. Explore Elk Grove works collaboratively with Elk Grove High School's TDA Academy, which gives students opportunities in the technology and digital arts industry. So last time around, in the bottom left corner, they designed these stickers for us. And this time they have worked on a postcard. These would be distributed at community events and booths and also available in our visitor center. Next up, we have digital marketing. So to give an overview of the strategy here, we would continue to develop an internal content calendar to ensure that all of our channels are cohesive between social media, newsletters, blogs, our website landing page, and also continue with the management of monthly analytics for all of those channels. First, we have social media. We'll continue to actively share posts on both Main Street's Instagram and Facebook channels, which have a combined following of over 3,000 and growth rates averaging 7% each month. We focus on a variety of themes, including local business spotlights, which ties back into the Support Local e-gift card program, food and drink, shopping, art, national holidays, and more. Next up, we have influencer marketing as a digital tool in the 2.0 plan. By partnering with influencers from nearby cities like Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Lodi, we can introduce Elk Grove's businesses to entirely new audiences on accounts with high engagement rates and trusted followings. The piece of content would essentially highlight 2 to 3 businesses that participate in the Elk Grove Local e-gift card program. We would work closely with each influencer in order to curate an experience that matches with their audience. A few ideas we had were food and drink tours, shopping tours, or a day in the life on Main Street.
And this is a digital billboard I mentioned earlier, which we've already started utilizing and are currently in rotation in thanks to the city's partnership with CSD. This comes at no cost to the city.
So in June of 2024, Explore Elk Grove executed a citywide commercial, which really gave a scope of Elk Grove as a whole. And in that commercial, we did get footage of Old Town Plaza, Trendy, and Prost Beer Hall. So what we're looking to do here is utilize the footage from that commercial and also capture 3 to 4 new spots on Main Street to create 15 and 30-second commercials to be used in digital advertising and on social media. We would also be able to use still shots from the commercial to continue building our photo library. Working with an agency to film, edit, and produce the commercial would be about $5,000. Since July of 2023, we've distributed a number of press releases for new business openings and events, which we will continue to do, as well as pitch to media, whether it's Visit California, Fox 40, Good Day, or KCRA. Alongside our PR efforts, we also have contracted a professional photographer to capture Station 16, Flowers by Fairy Tales, and the new Americana Vintage. These photos, again, are a great tool for social media and the website landing page. Next, we did want to include a few event ideas to continue to activate Main Street. We would like to note that these are just concepts and the execution is not in the proposed budget for the 2.0 plan, but events are definitely on our radar. First, we have a Mother's Day Sip and Stroll, which would combine Elk Grove's wineries with the art galleries and boutiques on Main Street. Essentially, a winery would be paired with a shop in historic Elk Grove to offer complimentary tastings while guests shop. We also had the idea of a St. Patrick's Day pub crawl with Dust Bowl and Prost. The event would be themed and each business would offer a special for the holiday. Thursday Night Lights is a concept that would close Railroad Street to create a family-friendly light parade with bikes and scooters. There would be food and craft vendors and would ultimately increase foot traffic down Railroad Street and Elk Grove Boulevard. Now we have print marketing. So Main Street has the opportunity for branded signage within these glass kiosks. With this, we would follow all branding guidelines to create a poster every other month that is themed to the season's events. This is an active effort that we are currently doing. So right now in the light boxes, we're promoting a variety of events, including the Festival of the Arts this weekend. We're looking at other themes for the rest of the year, highlighting family events, the city's birthday in context to the district, Diversity Month events, and supporting local for the holiday season. A few of the kiosks do need repairs, including new glass pieces and cork board to hold the sign up, which the Old Town Foundation offered to repair at just over $3,000 to ensure that the presentation is successful.
So to summarize, here are all the concepts that we just went over with estimated costs. Our current fiscal year 25 budget in economic development includes $75,000 allocated for district marketing efforts. So far this year, we've only spent a small portion of that amount on the digital ads and posters that we talked about earlier. We also have an additional $75,000 proposed for next year's budget. The items marked in blue are the items other departments and entities have agreed to cover. So as Casey mentioned, Old Town Foundation has agreed to cover the kiosks that you see there in blue. Public Affairs has agreed to cover the larger banners that was discussed earlier. So our plan is to use the remaining funds for the fiscal year to cover some of the more significant placemaking concepts. Then we'd use next year's allocation to continue building on those efforts. This approach would allow us to fund the majority of what we're proposing with the flexibility to carry over some of those items into the following year if needed. So as you'll see, most of the higher cost items, everything listed under placemaking, are pretty much one-time purchases. After installation, they would only really require maintenance. So keep that in mind. We wanted to present you also with the feedback of our business owners, Historic Preservation Committee, and Old Town Foundation before providing your own feedback. So after the initial 6-month campaign, we scheduled open houses to gather feedback from the businesses within the district, and we received overwhelming positive feedback. Even if entrepreneurs couldn't make the meetings, we encouraged them to fill out a survey. Most business owners said that the Main Street campaign effectively represented the character and uniqueness of historic Elk Grove. That was 90% of those that filled out the survey, and then 70% felt that the campaign resulted in a new customer base. Some other comments that we received was any exposure helps, and let's invite TV news stations to come and see all the businesses and cultural activities, and let's have a equal balance of retail services and restaurants. So one key piece of constructive feedback we did receive from our open house was on the topic of branding, since they basically received that the branding didn't clearly distinguish between the historic district and the rest of Main Street. Since the businesses closer to Highway 99 are not part of the SPA, they said branding them as historic caused some confusion. In response, we mocked up these two versions here that you'll see on the right. They maintain unifying elements like the color, the font, the iconic water tower, but distinguish the historic side of the district with its own sub-brand, and we'll get into that in just a bit. As far as Historic Preservation Committee, we also met with them. They also had great things to say, but they gave us some additional suggestions. They supported the idea of a unique logo from historic Main Street, but recommended that the historic element be more prominent. So this piece here, they thought that historic was a little too small. For the proposed 3D letters, they encourage us to consider more of an artistic design that reflects the character of the district. They also emphasize the importance of following SPA color guidelines. We've reviewed the SPA guidelines and confirmed that the proposed colors are and will remain consistent with those standards. There was some concern that the mesh covering could resemble a construction site, and while we understand that perspective, we believe that the mesh, being a temporary solution, still represents a visual improvement over the current condition of the site. And lastly, they ask that we ensure the placement of the bike racks does not obstruct pedestrian pathways. So we completely agree, and we will coordinate with Public Works to ensure that they're placed properly. So we know we threw a lot at you. Thank you for hanging in there. So just to recap, first, we'd appreciate your direction on branding. While many of our team sees the value in having a unified logo, we also recognize and respect the feedback that we received from the groups that we talked about. So to recap, this was our original logo here for the 6-month campaign that we held. And then these logos here were what we came up with after our initial open house discussion with our businesses. So that has 2 distinct logos, this one being for this west side, West Main Street area. Everything there, we would say, would use this. And then everything within the historic district would use this historic Elk Grove one. And then after speaking with HPC and Old Town Foundation with the feedback to have historic be more prominent, we came up with these 2 logos. One, this one being the same, and this one having historic being more prominent. So if we were to move forward with the 2 distinct logos, our recommendation would be that we use historic Main Street branding for everything located between Elk Grove Florin Road and Waterman Road, and to use Main Street Elk Grove branding for the area stretching from Highway 99 to Elk Park Shopping Center. Secondly, we'd love your feedback on the concepts that we presented you. So all of these ones that you saw just moments before. So anything that you loved, anything that you were like, no, thank you, we'd love to hear it. And lastly, a few additional considerations, because that wasn't enough. Council could direct staff to formally rename Old Town to Historic Main Street if you so wish. Council could also recommend renaming Old Town Plaza to align with the Historic Main Street branding. And additionally, you may choose to narrow the focus of the campaign to only be for Historic Main Street portion and discontinue the promotion of those businesses that are near Highway 99 under the Main Street branding. These are all things you can consider. And with that, this concludes our presentation. We appreciate your time and guidance, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Is there a checklist? Can we?
I can go back to the giant list if that's helpful.
I'm sure there's a number of questions. I definitely have some, but I'm
Yeah.
going to start with public comment. I'll go ahead and open up public comment. We have 2 people signed up. Brett Bartholomew, followed by Randy Becker.
Hello, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, staff. A lot of ideas on there. Thanks you. That's got to be a fun job trying to figure out how we can market Old Town, looking at all the different cities and different things that they all do and bringing that to us. I think the lights over the street is kind of a non-starter with the way that, we already have our current infrastructure, but I would be in favor of any additional lighting through Old Town because just last night I was at the Arts and Creative Economy Commission. They had a special meeting at the Explorer Grove office. I left that at 6:50 to walk down to the Sacramento County Farm Bureau board meeting right next to Pinot Palette. And it's just, there's not enough lights, right? There's anywhere we can add more additional lighting. What they showed here was a very, just a couple streams. I'm not sure how much, what the fact, there's a measurement for how much light that each of those can give. However we can enhance that, I think that'd be very helpful thing. I got a few notes here. Recognize that Main Street stops at Waterman, but you saw in the photo, Chris was at the community input meeting. I was there as well. Christopher Sellers is at the corner of Bradshaw and Elk Grove Boulevard, but we still benefit from any of this marketing that brings people down the boulevard. I'm in major support of this entire campaign. I want to emphasize the SPA color guidelines. You did mention that they followed within the guidelines, but they still are a giant change from they're already there now, right? So that's, the guidelines have been affected. Maybe they were current, but they weren't. When you see the bathroom at the Old Town Plaza, it's a bright color. The thing really catches your eye, which is what it's intended to do. So it's successful, but adding more of that is really going to affect. It's going to do what you want to do by making it a visual signifier that we're in a special area, but it also changes the historic kind of aspect when you have all these historic buildings. And then, all right, I'm gonna get through. I only have so much time. Just want to encourage that the Chamber of Commerce is involved in all these You mentioned met with the Old Town Foundation. They have 5 members. Like it's a wonderful organization. It's been around a long time, but the amount that they're the capacity of which they have involvement with other businesses is very limited. So I think the Chamber of Commerce is a worthwhile endeavor to be a part of. At the Arts and Creative Economy meeting, they mentioned that there might be a potential for a mural program. So I just want to put that on your mind, that might be something to combine with the marketing to have maybe a big mural on the side of Prost's building. I don't know. It's not my building. There's lots of opportunities for there to be some wide open walls type stuff from Sacramento in Elk Grove, and that's preliminary talks. I know there's no approval there yet, but that's a concept. On the signage, it had historic being above Elk Grove on the right side, and the historic and Elk Grove are the same size font. I think you could benefit by having historic being larger and covering the entire side of Elk Grove, and historic being that same. I don't know if I got a couple minutes there. I think the participating with influencers is very effective. Explore Elk Grove has 11,500 on their Instagram, and their Facebooks has 7.5, but their social Instagram is Main Street. All right, I don't have time's up. I apologize.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Randy Becker.
Kevin and I have got a lot in common besides gray hair. There was no McDonald's. There was no Station 71. There wasn't even a stoplight. So it's important when we recognize the word historic and where that is, where those lines are drawn. I know to this generation in 2025, it might not mean much and might think that the boulevard from 99 to Waterman Road is the same. But you might find yourself getting a hell of a fight in Bob's if you brought that up. So I would make sure that the historic font is large. If I was married, I wouldn't tell you where I was. Anyway, the historic district needs to be recognized correctly. And the Main Street, the rest of it, or the add-on to 99 would be fine, 2 separate. Color schemes, I'm okay with. I'm with Brett, and I think we're all the same. Lighting, 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 more lighting. Make it look like the lighting from old town cities, old towns. Make it nice, but lighting, safe. Make it safe. I want to be able to walk down the boulevard and not have to use the flashlight on my iPhone. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. That concludes our public comment. So I'm going to begin with council comments. Actually, if you don't mind, just indulge me. I'm actually going to ask a couple of questions just to kick it off. From what I've heard from the community, outside of the campaign itself, is the confusion with Main Street, Old Town, and Historic District. So consistency is one of the things that I've heard back from a number of people. I do like the campaign. I did see on the last slide, I think you mentioned the Old Town Plaza renaming. I think if we're going to be successful with rebranding, that lends itself that is something that needs to be on the table, because we have the Old Town Foundation, we have, just in our prior presentation, we still refer to it as Old Town Site. So it's going to be hard to break what's been customary. So for the marketing, we really need to do a deep dive on consistency so that the branding can be successful. I myself am guilty of this. I don't refer to it as Main Street. I will often call it Old Town. And that's just because I'm used to that. Mm-hmm. So to break that mindset, we're going to need some more consistency, I think. But I'd love to hear what my colleagues say, but I do think that the Old Town Plaza should be on the table. So I will start to the right this time.
So I guess to go a little bit more on the main street. In old towns across the US, there used to be a main street. It was named Main Street. I guess my only concern in this is if you tell someone it's Main Street, Elk Grove, are they going to be looking for a main street, right? And it's currently Elk Grove Boulevard, right? So I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that's a problem. That's a challenge, right? But I do like. Well, let me back up a little bit. So I think unfairly, you will get businesses throughout Elk Grove who will say, "Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. You're doing it for Old Town. What about us?" How come you're gonna spend all the money down there, all this money down there, right? And you're not gonna do anything for me? I don't think that's a fair thing. So let me start off with, we have a facade program. We have a number of other programs that can help out with that. And if anybody's listening and going, they got nothing for us, that's not true, right? You could probably list off the other ones. The only one that comes to mind right now is the facade program, which we've improved, and maybe we've learned, and maybe we need to do some further improvement on it, right? Because I think we want all of our businesses to look good. But then the next step in that, can you go to the slide regarding the press releases? Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, so press release distribution for signature events. Is that something that we can offer citywide?
Yes, and we
Okay,
do.
because again, that's another one of those things, right? Where you say, well, they're not doing anything for me, they're just doing it for Main Street, right? This is something that we can say, we can do for others.
Yeah, there's a couple things we can say we do for everyone, for those listening at home too. So yes, that's one of the things. Explorer can elaborate more on the press releases, but and there are a lot of opportunities even to post on the events page for Explore. I know that any business in Elk Grove can do that. If there's something new and exciting that's happening in your business, you can definitely utilize that service. We do have the facade improvement program. We have the brewery, restaurant, and winery program. We have the Support Local Elk Grove program that is free for our businesses to be on an e-gift card that encourages folks to shop and utilize those establishments. So we do have a lot of things that we offer citywide, and we see this as like the first point of district marketing, right? This is the heart, a lot of people consider this the heart of Elk Grove. So we want to start with efforts here, but that doesn't mean that it needs to exclusively stay here. It needs to launch, right, and continue a bit more than just banners and things that we started with. But there's definitely opportunities to really find and create almost districts in other parts of Elk Grove that those businesses can benefit from too.
Okay, good.
Kind of a pilot program, if you will.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it. And again, I think this is good. I'm supportive of, I think, all of this. But for those who are saying there's nothing for us, it's just simply not true. And I want to nip that right in the bud from the beginning. Okay, so let's go real quick to the railroad street fence mesh. Because one of the complaints, I'm sure you've probably heard it too, is that lovely little structure to the west of the fence there. It's an ugly little, I don't even know what it is. It's a shed, right? Will this, so I can see here where it'll run along the sidewalk, but will it run along Elk Grove Boulevard as well? Or
Yeah, so that's what you're seeing here. And then this is the railroad street area. So you'll see this part on this road here.
Okay.
And then this will run along here.
So you certainly won't be able to block it off if you're coming from, if you're traveling east, but it'll certainly reduce the visibility of it significantly, I think. So, okay. But you haven't, these aren't the final designs on it. You're just thinking about the concept. Yeah. Okay, cool. Press release, blah, blah. Okay. We have electronic reader boards at City Hall and District 56, is that right? The little kiosks out front? There's a little kiosk out in the front.
The SUFA signs?
SUFA signs, yeah.
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 There's one by Old Town Plaza as well.
What's that?
There's one by the plaza as well. Yeah, we looked
Okay,
into
all right.
including them on.
Okay,
yeah.
so I guess my question, when it comes to those reader boards or kiosks or whatever, did you consider those, or were they simply like extremely expensive? Or, I mean, they seem like a good opportunity to manage remotely, right?
Yes, yeah, we did consider them. A couple of things that came up, we really wanted to look at the historic piece and wanted it to be consistent with the style of the area. And so the look and feel, we felt like those kiosks that are already there kind of have more of that look and feel. And we thought we would be better to utilize money to make sure that those are working, because right now we have some Velcro that's keeping up those posters and things like that. Sure. So we want to put funds towards that. But to answer your question, one thing
and
is
I'm not
we
suggesting we have the exact same ones.
Yes.
I'm suggesting that there could be ones that have a historic feel, and there could be costs that are beyond. I don't want to drive the cost of this up, but those seem like they would be an interesting thing to try out as opposed to, what we currently have.
Yeah. So. Our current findings were that they are not color. They're black and white, which you'll see in the SUFAs as well. And then the ongoing maintenance, it wouldn't be more, I know we could make last minute changes with those remotely, but they have maintenance for people, for the software and also for folks to come out and make sure that they're clean and things like that. And so we did speak to the folks that did those SUFAs in other areas, and that was kind of the feedback of some limitations, but we could definitely look into it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, it seemed like not necessarily cheaper, but it seemed like a way to go that would be more efficient, right? Okay, and then can you go to the consideration slides? Because that was.
The payment.
I think it was your last one, the considerations.
Oh, yes, alternatives. Sorry for the whiplash.
Oh, you're fine. Oh.
Okay.
Officially rename Old Town to historic map. The challenge I have with that, again, goes back to the Elk Grove Boulevard thing, right? So I do like where you've drawn up the historic Main Street as opposed to Main Street, right? Because I think it does provide it provides a little bit of wayfinding off of the freeway, right? And it also provides a lift to some of those businesses in that area. And then I think probably the Old Town Plaza thing, I have that same, issue with the historic Main Street brand. And I think I've already answered the first one, third one, narrow the focus of the campaign to just historic Main Street. I think I like from the freeway to Waterman, if that's possible. And in the end, I think it's important to come up with a brand identity that works. And I'm going through a whole lot of marketing exercises with my company and a number of things, and I've found that I'm probably the worst person to talk to about marketing. So if someone says, you know what, look, there's a better idea, Main Street works, I'm happy to kind of step back and let it go. It's just, from my perspective, I have a challenge rethinking Old Town Plaza to historic Main, and then somebody who comes in from out of town is looking for Main Street. That's it. So, all right, just those my thoughts. I think it's great. I think otherwise it looks great, and I really like that mesh fence. We just have to find a way to make it not too overbearing, because so many folks want that darn storage facility or whatever that is to be blocked off.
Councilmember Brewer.
Thank you for investing in my district.
Thanks for coming to our open house.
All day, every day. The Connex box that was at the corner of Railroad and Elk Grove Boulevard has moved in closer to Dust Bowl. And it was done so because of the vandalism that was being done and probably similar activity from the young individuals who are riding the bicycles. And so, thank you to Union Pacific. Thank you to Liz Irons and Juan Fernandez, and to all those who had worked and advocated to having that Connex box relocated closer in. Because I think from an aesthetic standpoint, it does remove an eyesore, or at least it shifts it in a little bit more, but it also reduces the likelihood of any sort of ill harm that would be brought there through the vandalism. Old Town, the place versus Main Street, the business district. Main Street, the business corridor. I think that's the larger discussion that we're looking at right now. And so far into the pilot program, Main Street, the business district, has been a success. Old Town, the iconic neighborhood, the iconic community, it still resonates in people's minds, as the mayor eloquently said. And I don't know if you can ever get past that paradigm shift. It's something that has been ingrained, and something that for all of us that have been here for 27 plus years, that's something that we will all eventually would get used to at some point. But I think a lot of us will still call it Old Town, because that's what we know it as. But Main Street, the business sector, Main Street, the business district that runs from Highway 99 to Waterman Road, and to a lot of ways beyond to Bradshaw, because you do have Christopher Sellers there. That plays a vital role in all of that growth and all that that makes Main Street, the business district, what it is right now. One of the other things that I looked at, because another area in my district, because my district is so big, is Sheldon. Mm-hmm. And in Sheldon, as the community, they have several establishments there that are very successful, but also they haven't really mentioned it, but they've kind of said it in passing. What can we do to keep people still coming here? Mm-hmm. Because you have several establishments there. You have Sheldon Inn, you have Atkins Family Winery, you have Umai, you have Why Not Club, you have Burt's, you have Fat Mike's Pizza. You have all these several new places like Folicious, the Ace Hardware stores, and Super Taco, mm-hmm. and Pizza Bell. They all make up this community. And so it's making sure that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yes, I did use a rodism. Because as we work really hard to make Main Street, the business district, viable and attractive, we don't want to leave Sheldon Business District behind, especially at the expense of trying to make Elk Grove better, because we have so many new things coming in all different parts of the city that it's very easy to have something fall through the cracks from an overall sense. The Old Town Plaza itself, having the sign for Main Street is really cool. I like it a lot. But when we look at because I've had several discussions about, are the colors too vibrant? Because there's a more, especially when you look at the more earth tone colors that really make Old Town the community. Mm-hmm. But when you look at Main Street, the historic district, it's like you want to have that vibrancy, but at some point, do we want to tone down the colors? But not to make it too dull, not to make it too dark, but to have it balanced. Because as people drive up and down Elk Grove Boulevard or Main Street in historic Old Town or historic Elk Grove, because you see how meshing the language and the lingo together. It's just, that's why there has to be something singular, consistent, that as a business district, you want to make sure that there's consistency in the branding. And that's why I like when I saw the different pages that you had in here in your slide, where it showed the different approaches and how to phrase it. Because everything from Highway 99 to Elk Grove Florin, that's not historic. That's not the historic Main Street. That's Main Street, or at least Main Street, the business district. And everything in the shopping center up at the front, the Elk Park Shopping Center, with all the different activity that's going on there now is amazing. And then you have across the street, we are going to lose the CVS eventually. Or matter of fact, we're going to lose it pretty soon. Big Lots, that site is open, it's available. And so as those two fill in, you still have establishments there. You still have Plaza del Sol, you still have McHugh's, you still have Arby's, you still have the Bank Shop. And so, and I'm just talking about the restaurants, but the establishments like Ashley Furniture, that is still there. It's just looking at everything along that corridor and just having it and just marketing it in a way to where they're not separate and distinct. They are one, but they offer something a little new, a little something different, a little something that allows you to sample everything that is good about Elk Grove on the east side of Highway 99. And just that's where I'm kind of looking at in the overall design. The fence meshing, that's neither here nor there, but in the Old Town Plaza, the one with the flowers, I have a little heartburn about that.
That's why we made sure to say that the design it's just outstanding.
But I like the fence meshing that runs along the boulevard around the railroad street. I do like that, especially if it has some sort of way to direct you to those establishments. Because Dust Bowl is iconic. You see the neon light from there, and it's very clear that that's where it's at. But for the new establishment coming in, and I think this is something that also kind of plagued the old establishment before it, that it didn't have the signage to direct you to that spot because it gets lost in the breath of Dust Bowl. Yep. And so there has to be something that at least guide people to both of those establishments so they know that Railroad Street is there and it's open for business. And it's definitely a destination place to have a good time. Just like Prost, just like Bob's, just like Brick House, and Babes. You have everything that you want along that Main Street corridor. And then we have Trendy, Bailu, and Thule. You definitely have your community right there. And so it's a lot of great stuff going on just in this corridor from 99 to Waterman, and when we mentioned Christopher Sellers stretching it out to Bradshaw, but also looking at how to keep things moving at a high clip, moving at an aggressive direction, a positive direction, but also looking at how we can create that vibrancy, that balance, that same excitement for the Sheldon community and what they have out there, because you have some wineries out there that leads people off to, and stuff. So as we start to fill in those gaps and as we start to look at the campaign, those are things I'm looking at and thinking about.
Yeah. We see those businesses in the rural area kind of being its own distinct district as well, with maybe potentially in the future a different type of branding, but a little distinct from the historic Elk Grove piece.
Yeah, but the historic Elk Grove, Main Street Elk Grove, the Main Street project itself I love it. It's because when people are asking where you need to go, that's what you say. You go to Main Street. I mean, Elk Grove Boulevard is going to be Elk Grove Boulevard because it runs all the way out to Interstate 5. but just recognizing as a district, as a business district, a business entity, that's where some real magic opportunities can occur. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Robles?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you just for your hard work on this. It's never easy when you're rebranding. It's never easy when you're trying to do marketing. My question actually would be, when you had this meeting, I would actually ask, how are the businesses doing?
Yeah, we tried to show a little bit about the analysis with that initial, sorry, you're getting whiplash, analysis slide that shows an increase in foot traffic. That's one right here. So yeah, I think our businesses are greatly benefiting from it. We see increased foot traffic, increased visitors, and then even just the perception, right? Because perception is a little different from reality. The businesses are also saying that they're getting new customers, so it's a good thing that we're having a match up there. Yeah, we think it's...
Before all the branding, was there an analysis done on how the businesses were doing?
Yeah, so this is actually comparative analysis that Casey ran.
Yeah, so this is from August 1st to 2023 to March 31st, 2025. And that's when we started gathering information from tourism economics.
Okay. I think that it's a good idea that we put something over the fence, because I think that's pretty good. People talk about the SORI, people talk about trying to move that specific, what is it, trailer? No. Conics. That's storage. That specific storage, right? I think this is a great idea. For the colors, I don't mind the colors because it draws people to go down. They start seeing something different that they haven't seen. I understand we want to stay and preserve, but let's just be honest, if it's black and brown and like just the colors on the wall, it's just gonna look kind of awkward. At least these colors are colorful, that draws people to that specific area. I actually think that it's a good idea of the fence behind the plaza. Because you go right now, and even when you take photos, whether it's dancing on the edge or we're gonna be doing, cowboy boots and dancing, right? Mm-hmm. You wanna see something beautiful behind there. Perhaps maybe we can do something that is historic on that side, right? So that draws people and like, okay, this is feel a little bit more historic, right? When we're looking at doing the marketing for the restaurants, so some folks do go, but one of the things that's hard is also hard for all the new restaurants that are coming in to actually sell, right? And then the price difference in the suburbs are a lot different than the city of Sacramento. Folks in the suburbs kind of sometimes feel like they don't want to pay a little bit more, which is okay, but also we're bringing good quality of food, right? So we have to market that as well. When you're trying to hit different demographics, right? Elk Grove is expanding, Elk Grove is growing, but you also need to target folks from the east or from the west side as well, and from the north and from the south, right? These are folks who live in Elk Grove who are going to start going to these areas because it's more colorful and vibrant. I understand that sometimes when it comes to lighting or, overhanging or however, there will be traffic. And I want to emphasize we're doing all we can to solve that. But oftentimes with lighting, it's beautiful. There's a restaurant called Pasanote, and it's on L Street. They have a patio outside and they have lights, and I can guarantee you that they're always booked. Why? Because it looks like a really beautiful place and people like the food there, right? It's not that we're trying to change Old Town or historic Old Town or Main Street, right? We're trying to make sure that the economics development on that area will continue to expand. And I think that that's what we need to focus on. We're missing the point and we're missing the mark if our small businesses are not benefiting from this. And I think that that's what we need to focus on, our small businesses that are here. So if it does take a little bit more color, if it does take some lights to make it some more acceptable, and yes, I go back to, I understand that there's a lot of traffic, but a lot of this traffic don't stop at those restaurants. We need to make sure that we're taking care of our small businesses. So thank you for the hard work that you're doing. Thank you for investing, and I'm gonna allow my other colleague to talk.
Councilmember Suen.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, kudos for all this work. It's obvious you put a lot into it. A quick question: West Coast Taco Bar is west of 99, though. Is that intentional to include that in this data?
Yeah. West Coast Taco Bar is next to Smart and Final.
Oh, I mean, sorry. I'm sorry. It's west of Elk Grove Florin, But, you're going, never mind.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
late.
yeah.
It is late. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Now it all makes sense. All right, sorry. I wanted to start off, though, with the earlier comments from the mayor and Councilmember Spees. I agree. I mean, in terms of we need to focus. Is it Main Street? Is it Old Town? Elk Grove Boulevard? And this might be even more costly, but we have Laguna, and then east of 99 we go Bond. So we could do Main Street east of 99, and I know at some point Waterman or maybe Bradshaw beyond, we could pick up Elk Grove Boulevard again. Just a thought, but that could solve the Main Street conundrum, if you will, if folks are worried about there's no Main Street. So suggestion to explore that. I do like how you have the distinction here with historic Main Street in farther east, and then the Main Street, just Elk Grove over on the west side. I think that's very elegant. I heard the comments about making the historic bigger. I've always thought less is more, so I do feel like that what you have here is kind of nice. It has historic right over the top of it. I think that's a nice touch. The pole wrapping stood out for me. That was great. I think that's really, really neat. The fencing, I agree with my colleagues there. I like the fencing. On that though, when as big as the Dust Bowl neon sign is, for whatever reason, when you're walking down, you just don't look. Is there a way to do a big wayfinding sign for Horn Barbecue, for Dust Bowl that would? I thought maybe look at something like that where it's just blaring at you right in your face when you're walking down Main Street, and you can see that the big arrow if you go down that way. Because I've met people or talked with people right there, and they say, "Where is Dust Bowl?" And you have to point to them, so it's just not as obvious as you might think for some. Bike racks, I think, great idea as well. Lighting, absolutely. I do think it looks nicer crossing the street, but I do recognize the challenges. So if you can do it along the street but still make it look good, I don't know what that would be, but I do think it adds a nice ambiance, especially at nighttime, in addition to public safety. And I mentioned the wayfinding already. Oh, the question on the swag. The swag. Does anybody use postcards anymore? I mean, I saw that. Is it?
I think it's more like people use stickers all the time. They put it on like a cork board or on their desk. So it's more of like a takeaway, like when we go to trade shows or we're out in the community in the region, just to pass out, it would have a QR code to sign up for our newsletter, link it back to the website. So more of like a collateral piece that's a little more unique than like a flyer.
Okay.
Also an opportunity for that workforce piece, right? Connecting with the high school students. I was at the Pathways advisory meeting that they had and sat at the arts table since I'm doing the Arts Commission. And they always want more opportunities for the students to be able to use real life examples. And so I think that's an excellent opportunity for them to have something to put on their resume that they use their graphics skills on, things like that. And so it showcases the talent here as well, and an opportunity, to connect back to the webpage.
Okay, I mean, hey, if they're still useful, great. Just sidebar, I was in China, and I literally took me forever to find a place to mail postcards because people just don't mail postcards anymore. So, that's a good idea. Should have done a hotel. But anyway, wasn't staying at a hotel. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think it's a great effort and endeavor, and I look forward to seeing how everything else when you implement it going forward. So.
Sir, Mayor had a follow-up.
Yes, I do have one question, and and I don't want to add more to it. There's a water tower in Old Town.
Yep.
Is there anything that we can do, or how can we help to help facilitate a conversation to put some art there?
Yeah. Earlier someone mentioned a mural festival, which we plan to bring to you. We would love to have someone paint that water tower with a mural or do something with it. We haven't had much luck getting in touch with the owner, where our understanding is that they are out of state. And they use the water tower mostly for putting things like antennas and satellites on there. So, yeah, we've talked to the two groups, HPC and Old Town Foundation, to see if they have connections, and hopefully can get more of a connection. But yeah, we've
If you
tried.
have their
to reach out.
contact, I would love to get in contact with them,
Okay.
and then I'll personally just.
Great.
Well, one more
Yeah,
thing,
go
yeah,
ahead.
just to add on that, because I've got a ton of examples too that we've taken from all over, and my wife keeps asking me, why don't we have one here in Elk Grove? So I think it's great, and I know we've got mural effort going on too, so great, a lot of great sources there, but we need something like that, yeah, thank you.
One quick
Thank-
go,
oh,
one
okay,
quick
yeah.
go back.
Go ahead.
So I guess one thing that I would mention as a caution is that right now we're going through and doing a lot of code enforcement relative to signs
Yep.
that are on the street. We are making some people very unhappy with signs. And I think if we were to consider putting wayfinding signs to restaurants off of the street, we would get some very strong criticism. And so I'm not gonna say it's right, I'm not gonna say it's wrong, I'm just putting that in there for thought.
And that's why we went with the mesh, because we've heard similar things from even like Slow and Low when they were there. They wanted to put signage there, and they were having a lot of pushback for that exact reason. So we thought a mesh was a happy.
We're cracking down on banners, flags, all kinds of different signs. That's kind of I don't know, just be careful going there.
Yeah.
All right, so you heard a lot from my colleagues, and I kicked off with some of my initial concerns. I think this is a great effort for branding. I still have that concern about that uniformity, making sure that the branding is consistent. Yep. We're still interchangeably calling it Old Town, Historic District, Main Street. So really that's the biggest issue for me, for this to be successful. I think some of our members asked, not to ignore other parts of Elk Grove. And as a reminder, this is a pilot program. And we have a concerted, deliberate effort to revitalize, and I'm going to say it, Old Town. And that has been part of our policy direction. And it's an area, it's our oldest area, and it's been overlooked for decades. And so this is great that we're at a point in our city's where we are today as a city, that we can now reinvest and bring back that vibrancy that has been missing for a very long time. So I'm very proud of the work that the city is doing in that area. And I imagine, again, this is a pilot program, we'll see similar opportunities elsewhere. But, some of the things that we hear on the west side, the east side will say, well, gosh, there's nothing happening everything new is happening on this side of town. And so where there's new growth, new opportunities, the newness is its own sort of attraction. This area has been overlooked, and we need to see it through to make sure that it's successful. None of us here are marketing experts. And recognize that we all like certain things and dislike certain things. This should be a data-driven decision-making of what that expert feedback looks like. I don't necessarily want to be the one saying, fonts, this or that. It really should be driven by the experts. And then give us ideas of, what that looks like. But, we all have our tastes or our own preferences. But by all means, we're not the experts in this subject area. So I want to defer that design to the experts. A lot of things that I like on this. I love the bike racks. I love the lighting. I'll go back to what I've said in years past, and that is that sort of what you see in San Diego in the gas lamp area. It is its own destination. And with this increased lighting, I could see something like that develop. And of course, public safety is important. I've heard from a number of business owners that becomes an ongoing concern. And so the more lighting that we have there, that is something that is sorely needed. And this sort of enhanced beautification of what that lighting looks like, making sure that it is obviously attractive. To Councilmember Darren Soon's point, you just have a string of lights. What does that actually mean? So I'm sure there's going to be, again, the experts who can help design this and make this the best, something that we all want to see. And I know that Denise has always asked for those Instagrammable spots throughout our city, and I saw some of that here. And I do like sort of that, creating those hot spots throughout the city. That you, again, it goes back to civic pride. So there's a lot going on here that I love. I just want to go back to that basic element, and that is on branding and that consistency. And it even with Old Town Plaza, maybe it's just the plaza or Town Plaza. I'm not going to be the one that determines what that is. It's just some food for thought. That the more we visually have Old Town name everywhere, it's going to be very hard to shift the mindset into a historic district or Main Street. Where the fonts and where it needs to go, I'll leave that to all you guys. But thank you. I think this was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing what becomes of it.
Mayor, can I just get some closure and make sure we've got clear direction from the council? There's lots of different opinions. First of all, I want to respond to Councilmember Stewen's comment about renaming Elk Grove Boulevard. I don't know if you remember, but we tried to do that with Civic Center Drive out in front of District 56. And that became a nightmare just because of, you're talking about the post office and you're talking about everybody changing their addresses and everything. It is not. And you think of how many residences and businesses are along that stretch, that would be a monumental challenge. So I think what we're proposing is really to rebrand, rename that from a marketing perspective, if not the actual physical addresses, right? But what it sounds like I'm hearing from the council is you're good with the general Main Street concept, right? With kind of the Main Street Elk Grove being from 99 to Elk Grove Florin, and then from Elk Grove Florin to Waterman is the historic Main Street Elk Grove, right? And it sounds like most of the individual projects in there are good. Right, there's a lot of little details we need to work on, but I didn't hear anybody not liking or eliminating anything from that list. So we'll move forward with kind of the next phase of design on that. If we can, you get the right page up. I would like some direction on a couple of these things. First is on the far right is the most recent, I guess, suggestion based on the feedback we heard, which again moves the historic above Main Street and has it a little bit more prominently versus the one in the middle, which again has it a little bit. So I think I heard from a couple of you that you liked the historic above, the little bit more prominent there. Is that the consensus of the city council, that the one on the far right, both of those two is the direction you want to go in? Or would you prefer to stick with the one in the middle?
You're going to have to use Main Street. If we're going to be stuck on that, then I like the design that says historic Main Street.
On the far right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody consensus for that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead and go to the next.
So on that,
Just, I want to make one comment before you speak, Rob, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
It's just, so just keep in mind, to be consistent for what Mayor was saying, things in that area right now do say historic Elk Grove like this. So we would potentially need to replace
You'd have to replace
things
it.
like, the bathroom and things like that. The banners.
and when you look at the boundaries, because the other key part is when you look at the boundaries, because it's pretty linear, and you have some areas where you have some going up and down, north, or at least north-south. And so those boundaries are what they are. But if we were to do that, I like the historic being more prominent. That way people have a better feel for it.
Yeah, and I think if I understand it correctly, I don't think we're planning on extending any of the street banners north and south of Elk Grove Boulevard. I think mostly the Main Street will be along Elk Grove Boulevard. Is that correct?
That's right.
But the marketing aspect and including some of those businesses north-south would be included in the general marketing district.
Okay.
Highlighting in social media and things like that.
Yeah. And then the other, if you can go to is it the next slide that has, actually keep going to the one that has, yes, additional consideration. So this is the next big one, right, which is historic Main Street Plaza or Old Town Plaza. Because I think what I've heard from several is that if we keep calling things Old Town, then there's gonna be a lot of confusion. Is it historic Main Street or is it Old Town? And so is there a desire to
Main Street Plaza.
It could be Main Street Plaza. Maybe you could historic Main Street Plaza.
I think this one's a red herring. I like the Old Town Plaza approach. It is what it is. When it was built and it came together, it was called Old Town Plaza. That should not, no, from a home standpoint and your town standpoint, Old Town Plaza, you could at least hold on to that. Because as we're saying, as we're turning a business district into a place, that's one thing, but it's good to keep some things. I'm gonna get pushback on it, but I'm gonna stand by it.
Yeah. How does the rest of the council feel about that?
I agree, change it. If we're gonna, we gotta go all in, because otherwise it's gonna be confusing.
It's not confusing.
It is.
It's not confusing.
To you, it's not confusing.
Because we're on the east side, you're on the west side. There's a big difference,
Why are you
right?
trying to get us to come over there? We're not gonna know where to go. I'm just kidding.
But the bottom line is like, Old Town is a place where you live. Main Street is the business district. And we could still call everything Main Street, but at least leave one vestige of something that was built by the previous city council to be recognized and be recognized as such.
I don't know that they would fall on the sword on this.
I would. I'm not even from, I didn't even grow up in Elk Grove. I grew up in Tulare. But one of the things I do know is like, people that live in small towns or grew up in small towns, they like recognizing that's something that they can recognize as home.
So I would
Period.
ask the marketing expert if this will cause brand confusion. And if it will, from the experts, I'd like to know that. Rather than just sitting here and talking about something that
Yeah.
could not necessarily be an issue.
I mean, I also like the consideration of the plaza. And so still being maybe not, we would have branding on it with all those elements that we showed you, but maybe it's just the plaza being kind of a middle ground. That's also an option. I liked that idea from the mayor. Or going all in. I mean, it will have the, giant letters and things like that, so people will know it as the historic Main Street area if it is renamed the plaza. But having the Old Town on there, I think people will continue to use Old Town
What do you like?
to refer to
You
the
like the plaza?
Sure, the plaza.
What say you, Mr.
Oh.
Stevens? You
I'll
see
tell you,
again,
I'm telling you, Main Street to me means a main street. This is not a main street. It's Elk Grove Boulevard.
Okay,
You see,
let's
you're on
read
that
that.
mark,
You
Dylan.
heard them. Let's just change. No, I'm just
No, I guess, but that's where I'm going. That's where I have a problem with this, and there is a branding problem. To call it historic Main Street, people will say, and maybe I've spent too much time in Utah, because you got main streets all over. You got main streets up and down the valley. Main streets. They look from Main Street. So if you say historic Maine, they're gonna be looking for Maine. You're gonna look on the map. Where's Maine? It's Elk Grove Boulevard. And I'm being practical about it. I'm not trying to be, I've lived here forever. I'm trying to say that there's a problem with the branding and the location. That said, I am willing to go with what a marketing expert would have to say. My bet is they would probably want to make it as least confusing as possible. Okay, and that's why historic Main Street, I think, is confusing. So I don't know that I have any more clarity, but.
what, just to, we talked about this. We kept Civic Center Drive. So District 56 is surviving okay with Civic Center Drive. I mean, we can have.
Sure, but what I'm saying is for the average visitor,
Yeah.
okay, the visitor says, oh, I need to go to Main Street. And they're looking up Main Street as opposed to Elk Grove Boulevard. That's my challenge. If I could get past that, I don't have any problems naming it Main Street, Old Town.
Or they
whatever.
would probably be driving on Elk Grove Boulevard and see they're entering on the Main Street district, right?
Yeah,
On the
you'd see
historic
that
district.
signage there that would
You'd
let
see
you
it
know.
and you're
just
like,
gonna point
oh, I'm
that
in the
out.
historic district.
Can I interject for a minute?
Sure.
No, not kidding.
Please, Bobby, I know this is going on a long time. We did not
No, wait.
intend for this to go on so long. We chose Main Street because there are signs on Elk Grove Boulevard that say Main Street, right? They're there now. They're historic-looking signs, they're blade signs, they're in two different locations. My understanding is the street used to be called Main Street, like that was its original
Not
name.
during my history,
Yeah.
but, and I think I've established myself as the oldest in the
don't know.
room.
Okay, well, I could be wrong, but there are blade signs down there now that say Main Street. And I might suggest that it's probably not a good idea to rename the sign, but we could keep those signs and even add additional signs, right? It could be, it's still Elk Grove Boulevard from a police and addressing standpoint, but there's probably a way to make it known as Main Street through this branding and then also these street blade
Well,
signs.
it's
was one thought
branding,
that I
just
had.
like when
Yeah.
you enter the rural area, you're not renaming, it's the
Yeah.
rural area.
I would also ask,
It's a district.
and this might be controversial, and Jason, I don't know if you were gonna go here, but one of the additional considerations is, do we want to rename Old Town Main Street? I'm your economic development director, right? I mean, no disrespect to anybody who is passionate or nostalgic about the name Old Town, but from a marketing standpoint, we should rename it Main Street. So the Old Town SBA becomes the Historic Main Street SBA, et cetera. Rod,
Consistency.
apologies, but I think we should also rename the plaza. If we're gonna do this and be all in, we can, we could debate that all night, I'm sure. But I would really strongly recommend that this council at this moment rename Old Town from a government perspective to Historic Main Street. All right.
Historic Main Street as a business district, correct?
I mean,
And
as
if we're gonna call
the
it
way
what
the
it
city
is,
of Elk Grove refers to that district.
Historic Main Street.
Yes.
That's what we're in
that's what
agreement
I'm
on.
recommending.
We're always gonna be in disagreement on the naming of Old Town Plaza.
Okay, fair enough, Rod.
Because when people, they're gonna Google on the maps, they're gonna look up where Main Street is. Is it possible to have it show up as Elk Grove Boulevard in parentheses Main Street?
We can look at that.
I mean, that might be
That
simple
could be
too.
interesting
Yeah.
you can provide that sort of feedback for the geotagging and whatnot.
We can look at that.
I think we have to go all in for branding purposes, the consistency, otherwise, where are we talking about? Are we this, are we this, are we this?
Yeah.
So if we have one branding, then that's what we go with. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Are we, the majority of us, are we good with the historic Main Street and then Old Town Plaza being
The plaza?
the plaza or historic, whatever, just remove the word Old Town?
Has that question gone to the Old Town Foundation or to Historic? Has that question gone to them? Because I am not throwing myself in front of that crew tonight and making that decision. I will be drawn, quartered,
And then maybe
feathered.
they can reconsider their own names too, to be again, if we want to be consistent, we have to be all in
Mayor, so
on all aspects.
I want to go back to I understand everyone's arguing on the rebranding and everyone's arguing on this, but I want to make sure that if we're going to go through data to figure out the analysis, we need to also look at if there's been other cities similar to us that have done this and if their economic development has boosted. I think I understand the heritage and having pride in Old Town, right? But if this is going to help our businesses, if it's going to help our businesses grow, if it's going to bring people to Elk Grove to go to Main Street or Plaza, or if it's going to help them, that's where we're making that difference.
Are we helping or hurting what you're doing?
Yes. Data showed it's helping.
What do you need clarity on tonight?
We had the graph, it showed it helps.
You need it for the overall concept. Maybe we just leave the plaza for another day.
I would be fine with that.
As we, mention the rebranding to the other stakeholders and then talk about consistency and so forth.
Well, the other
can table that.
stakeholders know about the rebranding, right? We've done that homework.
Right. But part of that naturally will include some of these other elements, which they may not have contemplated.
I think we don't need to make a decision tonight on Old Town Plaza.
Yeah.
I think we should make the decision that Main Street is the boundaries that we're showing you.
Yes.
And that a portion of those boundaries is our historic district.
Yes.
And that we should officially refer to that as Historic Main Street going forward.
Yes. That I think
That's our
we got
recommendation.
direction on that with the city manager's question. Did you have any other follow-up?
No, I think that was it.
So we're good on this item for now?
Yes.
Is there anything, okay, so
I think
then
we
we
got
will
everything. Is there anything else that you
revisit the
need, Sarah?
naming of the plaza.
Yeah. We can toy with some names on that.
Well,
bring
and
something
definitely
back
include the
later.
stakeholders. I mean, the
Yeah.
names, I think, won't be as hard as making sure the stakeholders are informed.
We have some time. This is
Yeah.
going to be next fiscal year. It's going to be
Yeah, so
rolled out
exactly.
and stuff. So we've got some time.
Okay, very good.
Thank you guys so much.
I did not know that was going to take that long either. So. But here we are at 9:13. All right, well, thank you very much. Let's see, item 10. It is now time to convene the City Council and Finance Authority joint regular meeting at 9:13 PM. Clerk.
I'll do a visual roll call, noting that all the members of the Finance Authority are in attendance, as the members of the Finance Authority are the City Council. And I do just want to note that there is no additional compensation or stipend that the City Council receives for their service on the Finance Authority. You just get to wear 2 hats tonight. So we'll be switching between those hats. Staff will be guiding you through the process of when we're going to be City Council and when you're going to be Finance Authority, and we'll go from there.
All right. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. I am Kara Taylor Seaman. I'm the Finance Manager, and I'm here tonight to present the refunding of some bonds for your consideration. To start out, I would like to note and acknowledge our financing team. That includes Jones Hall, who is our Bond and Disclosure Counsel, and Dave Fama is here to join us tonight. We've also got a couple people on the team through Teams. Fieldman Rollap and Associates is our financial advisor, and Jim Fabian is on Teams call to listen in and advise as necessary. We also have Eric McKean. He is our underwriter through Ramirez and Company, and he's also on the Teams call. NBS is the city's special tax administrator, and US Bank is the trustee. And then I'd also really like to point out that we have staff who've really been, just done a lot of heavy lifting on this, including particularly Cindy Tiffany. To start out, here is a map of the 2 districts. Both districts were created in the early 2000s. The blue one on the screen there is East Franklin. It has just some demographics about it. It has just over 5,000 total parcels, mostly residential parcels, and the district is pretty much all built out. There's just 2 undeveloped parcels in the district. And then Poppy Ridge is shown there in the gold. It is also, it's roughly the same size, just over 4,000 parcels, mostly residential, and it's virtually all built out with just 2 undeveloped parcels. So the CFDs were created in the early 2000s. East Franklin was created in 2002. Poppy Ridge was created in 2003, and there have been a series of bonds that have been issued from the districts. Those have supported the development of infrastructure to support the communities as they've been built. There have been a series of 5 bonds issued throughout, going back to 2002. Currently, the 2015 bonds are the only ones that are outstanding, and those refinanced and refunded all of the previous bonds. So the debt service for the bonds are paid through the collection of tax levies in each district. Let's see. Oh, and then the 2015 bonds, as I mentioned, are the current ones. They do have a 10-year call option, which means that the city can pay off those bonds early, in this case in 2025. With those 2015 bonds and the opportunity for the call option, we now have an opportunity to secure some better financing and savings, as well as to secure some additional proceeds for city projects. Again, about the bonds, the bonding capacity in the districts, East Franklin was created with a total of $75 million allowed for bonding. There's some remaining capacity, about $4.5 million. And then Poppy Ridge was created with a bonding capacity of $55 million, and that's there's no remaining capacity in that district. The proposed bonds will refund the 2015 bonds. There is some new money in East Franklin. The rest of it is refunding of those existing bonds for a total of just over $66 million. The first payment, if approved, would be September of 2025, and then the final payment is September of 2038. That does not change any of the terms of the current bonds. We're currently paying debt service, and that final payment does not change. I do want to take a moment to mention some market volatility.
On April 2nd, the federal government announced that tariffs would be imposed on goods imported into the United States, and that resulted in significant volatility across all financial markets, in case you didn't hear. As noted here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average experienced a decrease of over 10% following that announcement, and the bond market saw interest rates increase by 0.85%. Now, typically, the stock market volatility, what that does generally is result in stability across bond markets, but in this case, that didn't happen. The announcement caused a sell-off of U.S. Treasury bonds, and that resulted in increase to interest rates in the bond markets. So as issuers, that was bad news for us. The municipal market data, the MMD index, is the index that's used to determine interest rates on tax-exempt bonds, and those are the types of bonds that our CFDs hold and that we're considering tonight. The more recent announcement that tariffs would be delayed have stabilized the markets and all financial markets. Since this announcement, staff worked together with our financial advisors and identified some clear parameters for entering the market. And that's only if the net present value, the savings on those existing bonds, that we save at least 6% on those in our debt service. And also that our interest costs are lower than 3.85%, which is the interest rate on the existing bonds. So these good faith estimates, those reflect market rates as of the morning of April 14th. I'm happy to say that there has been more stability, so we are looking at better terms than what we see here. But these are the numbers that are reflected on the staff report and what we had to go with when we had to publish. The cost of issuance and other expenses total approximately $980,000. Most of those will be paid only upon the successful issuance of the bonds, but there is one exception. And I'll get to this in a minute, but the cost for, so Standard & Poor's has done a rating update for our districts. And the cost for that rating update is incurred regardless of whether the bonds go to market or not. So current estimates as of April 16th, so few days old. It may as well be the dark ages for how the market's changing. But the true interest cost there that shows 4.09%, we're now looking at 3.88%. And in talking to our financial advisors, and Eric and Jim this morning, things continue to look better, and we are monitoring this very, very closely. The savings there shows $2.7 million, or 4.02%, is now looking to be about $4 million and just over 6%. So again, looking much better than what we had when we went to publish. Tentatively, we're looking at bond closing on June 4th, but again, we are looking to hit those watermarks to make that happen. And then we would call those bonds on September 5th. The final amounts for the actual par amount, the interest costs and savings, that happens once we hit the market. We don't know that ahead of time. So Standard & Poor's, as I mentioned, did update our bonds, our bond rating, the credit rating for the bonds in both districts. Prior to this update, our bonds were rated at an A-, which is actually a really solid rating. The current update was completed on April 17th, and it increased the rating to an AA- or stable outlook. That is actually an increase of two categories in their rating system, which is tremendous, and we can be very proud of that. The upgraded rating reflects the strength in both of the districts, that there is a very stable tax basis since the districts are built out, and there's very low property tax delinquencies in the districts. For revenues and expenditures, bond proceeds have always been used to support development. These bond proceeds will refund and refinance the existing bonds. And then again, we have about $4.5 million in new money in East Franklin. Staff proposes that we use that money towards a project that will support the Camera Road extension. Each district was created with its own set of formation documents, and those detail all of the eligible expenditures. Bonds, again, all bond proceeds are used and will be continued to be used for public improvements. The structure of the bonds don't really change from the Series 2015 bonds. Property tax payers will not see any changes in their tax levies. There's going to be no increase in the amount that they're paying, nor will there be any change to the expiration date of their bonded levies. In addition, there's no change in terms to the debt service. So we'll still be looking at a final payment in September of 2038, making this a 13-year bond. Quickly on compliance, the city has always met the terms of compliance requirements. The city we have contracted with a company called NBS, and they assist us with all the disclosure requirements. That includes requirements for new issuances, which is reporting to a company or advisory commission called CDAC. We do have a debt policy, and we do disclose good faith estimates to you, our governing board. And then ongoing, staff have and continue to comply with ongoing disclosure requirements. So as recommendations, staff asks that the City Council and the Elk Grove Finance Authority adopt resolutions to authorize the issuance of the refunding bonds, the sale of refunding bonds, the issuance of new monies, and the execution of documents necessary to execute all transactions. Additionally, we ask that the City Council adopt a resolution to authorize budget adjustments that are necessary to record activity related to the bond issuance. Of note here, the resolution, this resolution is necessary to pay for the updated credit rating from Standard & Poor, which was $55,000. So I did want to point that out. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions, as are our consultants and advisors. Thank you for your presentation. I will declare that the public hearing is now open and open up public comment opportunity. Nobody has signed up on this item. I'll close public comment and declare the public hearing is now closed. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll look for a motion one.
Quick question, Mayor. Kara, thank you very much for the presentation. Just wondering, so is this a policy shift from 4% to 6%? The present savings, is that what I'm seeing here?
So the city does have a debt policy that says that we will not refinance unless we achieve at least a 3%.
3%, yeah.
3% savings.
Yeah.
We've historically seen savings much greater than that. And prior to this disturbance in the financial markets, we were seeing savings of roughly 6%, but even as high as 8%. So we looked at the interest costs, and since our interest on the current bonds was 3.85%, we kind of wanted to go with that, which would correlate to about a 6% savings on the new bonds, or on the refunding bonds.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's just that because we're making a policy shift, so I'm just kind of wondering, the rationale, because if markets, as you mentioned, the volatility of the markets is, it's crazy right now. So why 6%? I mean, and are we going to go back when the market goes back, for bonds comes worse, we're going to go back to 3%. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it the intent to keep it at 6% for foreseeable future, because that's just the way the bond market is now?
From what, and I'll let our advisors jump in if they would like to.
And Kara, I can jump in.
Oh, sure.
If you'd like. So the 3% historically is really tied to regulations that don't allow us to proceed with these bonds if they're lower than 3%. So it's really just a threshold that has already been set by law. But we want to take an approach that is more, what is the most beneficial for the city? And so we looked both historically, like Kara said, at what are the types of savings that we've achieved in the past, as well as we don't want to be in a situation where we have to tell our community that we are refunding at a higher interest rate than what we currently have. It's not really a good story to tell. And so practically, we want to make sure that we are doing what is best for the city. And we don't have to do this rebonding right now. we have a window of opportunity because we've done the rating and we've done this work that we want to try to get to that in the next 3 months. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that this is the only bite at the apple. We can look at this in 6 months, a year from now, but if we lock in at a higher interest rate and lower savings, then we lose the opportunity to achieve the full savings that we could potentially get. And so we want to kind of stick to what our analysis was when we first thought this might be a good idea. And not just react to the market and say, well, this is the most we can get. Because, and that's why we're asking for flexibility in terms of timeline. Usually give you an exact date on when we're gonna go forward with the rebonding. In this case, what we're saying is we're giving you tentative, but we want the flexibility of when to enter the market based on when we think it's gonna be most beneficial for the city.
So I'm hearing you say that the 3% was a government threshold. We're just saying, hey, we want to save more, so we're making it a 6% intention. Okay, that's great. And then true interest costs are lower. Is that an and or a or? 6% and true interest costs, or is it?
It's an and.
It's an and. Okay.
And they're correlated.
They're correlated. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. That's it. That's all I had. I'm happy to move the item.
Any other
myself.
questions from anyone? Yes, Councilmember Brewer.
So I thank you, Ms. Guzman, for explaining this and walking us through that. And I thank you, Kara, for the overall overview, because I think working and looking at bonds are very elaborate. And having that flexibility and knowing when to move, when to act is very important, especially based on the sound advice of our financial advisor, because they're paying very close attention to the markets on a regular basis and can really navigate those waters for us, especially when you're looking at the volatility of what we have today, where you have this very unique dynamic where you have the stock market not doing well, the bond market's not doing well pretty much simultaneously. But at some point, the bond market tends to buoy itself. And it's always good to have that extra set of eyes knowing when to do it. We don't have to do it tomorrow. But it's just knowing that we have that flexibility to do that is very safe and very helpful. And so I thank you for both of that. And with that, I'll second the motion.
All right, so I have a motion from Councilmember Suen, and we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. There's 3 motions, though.
There's motion 2, yeah,
Yeah.
that was just
Just
for that
motion
one.
one.
And just because we do switch to different, this next one for the second motion will be as the Finance Authority, so we just want to make sure that we've got that clarified for motion 2.
Okay,
We already did that.
Motion 2 is the Finance Authority.
Yes, so motion 2, can I get a motion?
Motion, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion 3,
Motion 3 is the City Council.
So moved.
all those. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, so now I will, yeah.
It's late, Darren, it's late.
Item 10.3, adjournment of the joint Elk Grove City Council, Elk Grove Finance Authority meeting. We're now adjourning the joint Elk Grove City Council, Elk Grove Finance Authority regular meeting at 9:31 p.m. Back to our regular meeting. Item 11, which is our council comments, future agenda items. I'll look to the left, any reports?
Just the sewer district meeting today we had briefly, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Just wanted to say, attended Dancing on the Edge last week, and there was about 100 to 150 people there, so it was pretty cool to see that in Old Town Plaza.
Thank you. Councilmember Brewer?
Go there.
Councilmember Brewer?
Sacramento Public Library Authority Board meets tomorrow at the administrative offices at 700 H Street. Can also plug in and watch it virtually as well.
Councilmember Spies? All right. I will waive my official report, but I do want to mention that the city hosted the Sacramento Housing Alliance for a very thoughtful discussion on affordable housing. It's one of many to come, and it was great. Many of their board members were there. That included Mutual Housing, the Hope Cooperative, and others. So good stuff. Thank you. With that, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 9:33 p.m.